What's up, people? Welcome to B-Rhy Express. We are back. We are here. We are live with the Vampire the can't even say the name of the game. Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. So yeah, jamming music. Hope y'all having a good old Wednesday. You know, I wanted to come in on Monday and do this, but I was so tired, man. I had other stuff going on. I had a lot of stuff going on this time of year at this moment. So, you know, bear with me like I've been saying. Bear with me for a few months. Maybe a few more months, even next year, too. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But after all that, once all that is over, then hopefully I can give more content directly to you. I had to do the Nintendo Direct thing directly to you. But make sure you express yourself by hitting that like button. If you enjoy the type of content, it helps the channel out immensely. I want to thank everybody who's been, you know, checking out my videos on YouTube. I've been seeing a slight growth in viewership, so that's always a good thing. Make sure y'all check out the latest video, which is Mortal Kombat 1, me playing during the beta. It's the final episode of that because the game is officially out now. So I had to get that out on Monday, and that's what I basically spent my time doing, trying to finish up that video before the game came out. So we're back now. I've been waiting to get back to this game because I never saw myself enjoying visual novel video games because, you know, it's a video game. You want to actually do stuff, right? But I love good stories. And this game is giving me a good story. And so I can't complain about it. May actually make me want to try more visual novels for the channel in the future. If you want to see stuff like that, more visual novel type video games like this game here, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you want to see that type of stuff. Or do you prefer the more action, more story-based, visually appealing type games, you know, as we expect in the modern age of video games. But y'all already know what I gotta do first. Let me let people know that the stream is live. I already got my message ready. And then we can jump right into it. Boot, 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 boot. Bring it back. Bring it back. Okay, there we go. I was like, bring it back now. Okay. I'm telling you, they all know who put their foot in this beat. Do 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 do. All right, let's go on and share that. Group, share that. All right, let's jump right into it. We probably got a few more hours of this game left, so we probably won't finish it today. But you know, we're gonna try to keep going, get through. We're on night 3. I could have swore it was on more nights than that. But I believe the game has like, don't quote me, but like 16, 17, 18, something like that. 18 nights, 16. I don't think it's 18. Like 16 or 15 nights that I got to get through before the game is basically over. So we're on night 3. We might be here for a little while. Depending on how the nights go. Once more, darkness. Wait a minute. Once more, darkness falls upon the city. You wake up, same as you have these past few nights, in a windowless room. As you pry open the reinforced steel door, you look out the window to see, invariably, a sky bereft of sunlight. And then it hits you. The hunger. For a moment, you let yourself wonder. Forgot about this. For a moment, you let yourself wonder if there will ever come a night when it's just not there. Given what you've learned thus far, you probably have as much of a chance of kick-starting your heart with jumper cables. You lock the door behind you and head over to Sophie's apartment. You did promise to call on her. Might as well not keep the lady waiting. And hey, what else are you gonna do? Call him? She's probably worried. At least, she will be once she actually tries to give you a call. Which might not happen for a few more weeks. Months, if she's busy doing press for her new piece. You could try to track down your sire, if the sheriff hasn't done that already. After all, he did buy your painting. There has to be a money trail, right? But even if so, what would you say to him? Why'd you kill me, you son of a bitch? That would be my question. I mean, just to start off, warm up the conversation a little bit. These thoughts put you in a weird mood. It's a strange sensation to walk the crowded streets, same as you have so many times before, but feeling so disconnected. All these people, you're not one of them, not anymore. You're a vampire, kindred, and you need to carve your own path in this strange new existence, one way or another. Appropriately enough, you arrive at Sophie's building just as the thought crosses your mind. A quick word with the security guard and you're led into the elevator. Apparently, Miss Langley was expecting you. Of course she is. You knock and wait patiently as the footsteps on the other side grow closer. Finally, the door opens and Gregory, Sophie's driver, invites you in. You find the lady herself standing by the window, silhouetted against the city's midnight glow. She stares out, motionless, like a marble statue. Just say hey. Good evening, Sophie. She doesn't react immediately, but seems to snap out of some meditative state and looks at you with strangely bleary eyes. Yes. Good evening, B-Rhy. I was wondering, when you look out at the city, when you see the lights, hear the hum, smell the rain on the pavement, what do you think about? You gaze out. You thought the city couldn't surprise you anymore. You've lived here all your life after all, but tonight something feels different. You realize in this moment that you have truly changed. Yes, you know what Sophie means. The way she gazed out that window and saw the truth beyond, you do the same. The view is fascinating, each detail absorbing every angle a new experience. The familiar made sublime. When you turn to Sophie again, she smiles at you knowingly. Ah, so you do understand. I had my doubts, but perhaps we are of shared lineage after all. You see, the blood that flows within me is that of Clan Torador. There are 13 such bloodlines among us, kindred, though that number has been contested in the past, and these nights, it seems that nothing is certain anymore. The clans have gone by many epithets over the years, but the names used these nights have their roots in medieval times. The original Inquisition, if you can believe it. They used these to categorize us, describe our inherent differences. In time, we adopted them ourselves. Each clan has a uniqueness about it, inescapable, originating from an ancient progenitor, carried from sire to child. For the Torador, the gift lies in a sensitivity of sorts. We are uniquely attuned to beauty and ugliness both. We can see either where most cannot, a blessing on most nights, occasionally a curse. The sheriff is of my clan as well, although you'd be hard-pressed to see him as such. Poor Kedar. It breaks my heart to see him in this state. Still, there is a beauty to it as well. Nothing like a good fall from grace. Try as she might to act playful, you can tell she genuinely cares. I didn't miss that whole part. Sorry about that, you guys. Then there's the Ventru, known for their pride and proclivity to rule over others. The prince represents that clan and is quite common in our society around the globe. Where the blue bloods themselves think themselves rulers, the B-Rhy likes to see themselves as preeminent revolutionaries. They call for universal rebellion while being slaves to their own temper. We don't discuss the rabble much anymore. After all, they've largely broken off with the Camarilla to think they were philosophers once long ago. I hope to tell you more about some of the other bloodlines tonight. How can I tell a kindred's clan? Say I'll meet a vampire for the first time. How can I tell what their clan is? Usually, you cannot. With a few exceptions, perhaps. For some clans, the uniqueness mentioned bleeds into their appearance or disposition. But even that can be misleading. Outside of a few very specific cases, knowing one's clan is less important than understanding who they are personally, what drives them, their wants and needs, weaknesses too. Speaking of which, we come to the reason I wanted to speak to you tonight. It is customary in our society, especially among younger kindred, to organize coteries. Sometimes they are called by the prince themselves or mandated by a fledgling's sire. In our case, you may treat it as more of a strong recommendation. I want you to seek out companions, not only because you need to learn about more about our society, but also because it is useful. True friendships are rare among kindred, but having allies, even temporary ones, is something of a necessity these nights. We might be selfish creatures, but we are drawn to each other nonetheless. Hey bro, why you ain't playing Armored Core 6? Bro, I ain't got that game. You got $70 for me? I'll play it. Just hand me over that $70, bro. What's up, bro? How you doing? Also, what's good, gang? What's good, dog? Hope you're doing good on this good old Wednesday. Hope you're having a good week, by the way. Where should I look for allies? Any suggestions on where I should start looking? I was just about to get to that. She puts on a mysterious smile. I spent some of my precious time last night asking around, pondering potential kindred for you to meet. Came up with a short list of contacts. I hope you'll appreciate the gesture. Trying to get that $70 too, bro. Like, we gotta put in work for it, man. You already know. The prices done went up from that funky 40 to that season 70. Forging a partnership with them might offer perspectives and viewpoints that I cannot provide, lenses through which to view our kind. They are all members of the Camarilla, of course, more or less. Okay, who are they? Alright then, let's hear it. Who's on the list? Eager to learn about them, I see. Good, I'm glad. All I do is work, everything is too expensive now? Bro, tell me about it. I really have to make time just to stream, bro, and I refuse to not do it. That's why I do it. I was like, I'm going to stream. Fuck everything else for at least 2 hours. As I drop $250 on Spider-Man, bro. $250? You must bought the deluxe enhanced VR edition. I don't know. VR Trooper edition. You actually become Spider-Man. They give you the suit and everything. What happened? So, Let us start with the Tremere. They are a powerful clan, disliked by many, but feared and respected by many more. They have been an important pillar of the Camarilla since the very beginning. They are blood sorcerers. Blood sorcerers? You could have swore, you could swear you once saw them at play at the Apollo. Probably not the same blood sorcerers there. Sophie snickers. Oh, child, don't be caught with that look on your face when you meet a warlock in person. They really are adept at using vitae, their own, as well as others, to unique and potent effects. I'm taking all 19 inches of. Oh, that's the statue. Yeah. 19 inches. Somebody else made that comment about 19 inches of venom on Facebook, and I was like, huh? But I get it now. That's a statue, bro. I'm just getting the game, dog. That's all I want. Just give me the game. Y'all can keep the 19 inches. You know, I need smaller inches. Since they are quite rigid in their hierarchy, the kindred I had in mind for you might need some persuading. His name is Agathon. From what I hear, he is quite the scholar, very ambitious, the child of a noted Tremere here in New York. Iceling, Sturbridge. Spend enough time with Agathon and I'm sure you'll run into her sooner or later. A chance to meet an important person there. So by getting to know this Agathon, I can get closer to someone higher up in the ladder? Yes, though not immediately, I would imagine. Aisling finds herself in a somewhat precarious position, both in the city and her clan. Every move she makes is heavily scrutinized, thus she has learned to tread lightly. Anyway, if you wish to contact the young Tremere, I hear you can usually find him in a New Age bookstore out on Broadway. The Tremere have one of their workshops there. Gregory will give you the details. Now, this next recommendation comes with a bit of caveat. As you recall me saying, most of the bloodlines have unique features that might not be obvious at first glance. Well, there is one clan whose members wear their curse on their sleeve. The Nosferatu. This is Vampires, the Masquerade Coteries of New York. So it's part of the Vampire the Masquerade series. But it's like a visual novel. So, because Insomniac put that as the tagline for the UK pre-orders of Spider-Man. Really? They knew what they were doing? Obviously. I can't believe they got away with it. 19 inches of venom. Wait, Nosferatu? As in the German expressionist classic? No way. Ooh, the Masquerade, got it. So where's the combat? That's why I said it's a visual novel, bro. There is no combat. There's only reading and choice making and listening to the combat. You don't even get to see the combat, honestly. No wonder they make their havens in sewers, abandoned buildings and such. Their appearance is hideous and obviously unnatural. Had they walked the streets like other kindred, the kind would have learned of our existence long ago. Did she just shudder? It's hard to tell with her usual complexion, but you could swear her skin suddenly took on even more sickly color. The one I have in mind isn't as big as an eyesore. I can keep missing the words because I keep pressing buttons. Let me stop. His name is D'Angelo, and he has an office, for lack of a better term, an otherwise abandoned grain terminal in Red Hook, right next to one of those Swedish stores. The name escapes me, the ones with the awful furniture. What, IKEA? A Swedish furniture store? You mean IKEA? Yes, that's it. My mind struggles to retain things that are aesthetically displeasing. That is not what the Masquerade is about. Boo! I'm still waiting on 2 with a what ass? With a slow ass? Oh yeah. I could have swore the second one was out by now, bro. I guess not. They keep putting out these little small, what they call it, spin-offs. They keep having all these small spin-offs. But yeah, give us the real game. I actually was interested in playing that one too. Yes, all right, we already said that. D'Angelo does odd jobs for Kadir, digging up dirt, locating kindred who would prefer to remain hidden, the kind of work that Nosferatus are best at. He's on a case right now, something to do with the Kine murders, I think. After your initial brush with our dear sheriff, I think it would be wise to show some goodwill towards his agenda. Assisting D'Angelo with his investigation might just be the thing. She takes a brief pause to look out the window again. Now come the two more exotic proposals. She's asking for a lot of stuff right now. I said the same thing because I want my teleporting shotgun dual class vampire right. Exotic? As if the blood mage and the vampire detective were business as usual. You may have heard about the Gangrel before. He's a wrestler, right? Gangrel, y'all get it? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about if you're a wrestling fan. Old school wrestling fan. Anyway, they were a wild clan in touch with their beasts in a way others might not dare to attempt. They mostly keep out of big cities, but there are exceptions. Normally, they haven't been a part of the Camarilla for over 2 decades, but the one kindred I would like you to meet has strong, shall we say, familial ties to the sect. Her name is Tamika. Oh, it's one of those novels. What do you mean by one of those novels, bro? Her sire, Jezebel, was instrumental during the Battle of New York back in 1999. The very same battle that cemented the city as a Camarilla domain. Wow, her name was Jezebel, for real? Sadly, her achievements have gone largely unrecognized. Tamika and a number of her siblings still reside in the domain they were awarded after the battle, Prospect Park. Jezebel herself left the city some years ago, fed up with being underappreciated. You mentioned siblings. Siblings? Actual biological brothers and sisters? No, not in the mortal sense. The Gangrel sometimes use the word brood to indicate chowder begot by the same sire. As you can probably tell, they do take the whole animal motif quite far. Familial. That was fam, bro, not full. That was not full. It was fair. It was fair. Let me stop. I don't think that's the right pronunciation, is what I'm saying. But I'm gonna let you get away with that one. I'm not sure how many of them there are, but they are rumored to be a tight-knit group. The Gangrel often act as on instinct, so when you meet Tamika or her siblings, be careful not to slight them. They are easily provoked and can hold a grudge for a long time. I speak from experience. I tried my best, damn it. Hey, they got a lot of words I just be guessing on this game, bro. Like, they want me to read everything? That's why I was like, dang, they want me to read everything? Anyway, I decided to stream it, so it's my fault. So, you see, seeking out Tamika could prove quite educational, if nothing else. And who knows, perhaps you will find her temperament to be a welcome change of pace. But, speaking of a change of pace, I have one last suggestion for you, though it's one I don't make likely. The kindred who calls herself Hope. She's a Malkavian. They are a uniquely cursed clan. For centuries we considered them mad, insane, unhinged. But those of us who spend enough time with them come to understand the truth. It is no sickness, but a unique perception of the world that has them to appear to us as unstable. And that perception can prove to be very valuable. Having a Malkavian as your companion might be taxing on the nerves and a true test of patience at times. but their insight and intuition are unrivaled among kindred. As for Hope, specifically, she is said to be a recluse, but I have it on good authority that she can currently be found in an internet cafe, I believe it's called, in Lower Manhattan. Gregory has the address. An internet cafe, huh? Really? How quaint. They want you to break the thesaurus just so you can play the game right. Lighter? I ain't got one on me. Yeah, it might have failed all the way behind there. That's where the remotes had failed. I really wouldn't know. But since you brought it up, be aware the Camarilla is highly critical. Oh, you good. Let me move this out the way. Hold on. Camarilla is highly critical of using the internet to communicate. The Second Inquisition made sure of that. Exercise caution when at her haven. Well, I believe that's all of them. I still have a few social calls to make tonight, so I'll leave you to it. Use tonight and tomorrow night to arrange some cordial visits of your own. I will send Gregory for you as soon as I have further need for your services. Oh, and that reminds me. You will need a car. Join us downstairs, won't you? Are we about to get a ride? Hey, yo, who that be? Who be? The person I'm talking to? She smiles once more and turns to her driver. He helps her put on her coat, and the three of you leave Sophie's apartment. One of my brother's friends. We're looking for a lighter. Sophie points to one of the cars near the building as Gregory hands you the keys. It's a rather inconspicuous compact car. A decent looking, if not luxurious ride. Stay safe, B-Rhy. This is your first night alone. Don't let it be your last. Oh no, I got this. I ain't scared. As they drive away, you find yourself with more freedom than you've had for the past few nights. A blessing or a burden. Time will tell. With a list of addresses in hand, you consider your next move. Alright, so I get to decide. We get to go to this guy. It's kind of magic. Sophie mentioned of a vampire clan and blood sorcerers sparked your attention. One of them, Agathon, could potentially be your introduction into the bizarre powers of the Tremere. Sophie suggests you meet Hope, a reclusive member of the Malkavian clan. She's supposedly holed up in an internet cafe in Lower Manhattan. A recent string of violent killings has the Red Hook district of Brooklyn on edge. Sophie mentioned that Kadir al-Asami, or Asmai, has a secret associate investigating the murderers. A Nosferatu neonate? I don't know why. By the name of D'Angelo. If you help him out, he might be persuaded to form a lasting partnership. Sophie mentioned a gangrel neonate by the name of Tamika, who made herself a haven in Prospect Park. Ferals aren't exactly a social bunch, even by kindred standards. But if you can help her from keep her from clawing your eyes out just long enough, she might be persuaded to join you. I mean, she looks cool, but I don't want her to claw my eyes out. So we're gonna go with the blood sorcerer, and we're gonna go with the guy that Kadir knows. Try the blood sorcerer first. You arrive at the address given to you by Sophie, a small bookstore smack dab in the middle of Broadway, of all places. What really catches you off guard, though, is the store's display. From what you've heard about the Tremere, they are infamous for their ties to the occult and the mystical. And yet now, looking at the oddball collection of items in the display window, it all feels borderline satirical. The books here cover everything from something practices to homeopathy to wellness of self-motivation. The vaguely amusing juxtaposition don't end there though either. Let me try this word. Ayurvedic practices. I don't know if that's right. I'm gonna assume that's right. Speaking of way, damn, what's your name? I was trying to call you by your other name, but Aaron. I'm gonna just call you by your government right now because I can't remember. I'm drawing a mind blank. AK Alien, yeah. Anyway, have you gotten Mortal Kombat yet? Mortal Kombat 1? That's the most recent game I had to pay for. I'm sure you got it though, right? Right? Anyway, you notice a copy of Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible tucked behind a cheap smiling Buddha. A scientific journal on hematology sits next to a teen-oriented pamphlet on the blood type personality theory. A number of religious and quasi-religious symbols, lockets, pins, and various look, they need to stop with these words. Emblazoned, I don't know, paraphernalia are haphazardly strewn across the display and between the tombs. Before you even open the door, you can smell the burning incense and hear the corny Far East tinged music seeping through the crackling speaker mounted above the entrance. It's much more quaint than what you expected from what Sophie told you about the so-called warlocks. It doesn't look like they have much interest in impressing outsiders. Then again, if there's anything you've learned these past few nights, it's that appearances can be deceiving. At this time of night, the shop appears to be closed. Regardless, you ring the bell. You hear someone shuffling around inside. A brief moment later, the latch slides, and the door is pushed open just a few inches. A tired-looking blonde in the loose clothes appear in the crack. She seems confused, like you just woke her up. She lets out a yawn, scratching at her tattooed neck. Finally, she squints in your general direction. Her pierced lip curves into an awkward smile. I'm here for the cold advice. Got anything on vampires? Let's just be direct. Is Agathon in? I'm looking for a guy named Agathon. Is he around? The girl gives you a suspicious look over, but opens the door. She takes a few steps back, and you hear footsteps coming from behind a floral curtain that covers the back door. A bespectacled, smart-looking woman emerges and looks straight at you. Come in and follow me. Just don't touch anything, please. You follow her through the store. Inside, as expected, the stuffy air smells of sandalwood, frankincense, and a dozen of other aromas. The woman leads you behind the curtain and through the back door, onto a rickety staircase. A flight of steps takes you up the second story. You instantly notice the change in decor, as the tacky New Age bookstore gives way to something resembling a cross between a library and a workshop. The smell here is strong, too, but much more layered. You're not sure what to make of it at first, but with each whiff, it becomes apparent. Blood. The aroma, though subtle at first, soon becomes overpowering. It takes you a moment to adapt and focus. Oh yeah, you ain't ate yet. Well, I ain't ate yet. I don't think I know who you're speaking with. So an introduction is in order. My name is Aisling Sturbridge, and I am the High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs. You're B-Rhy, correct? I have to say, you're lucky the ward outside the building is only there for notifications tonight. Otherwise, it would have been quite unpleasant. To answer your question, Agathon is here, but he's hard at work and I wouldn't want to disturb him. Am I to understand this is a social visit? High Regent sounds important. High Regent? Of the Chantry? Of the Five Boroughs? That's quite a mouthful. It might sound fancy, but that's uh, because there's a well-established tradition behind it. One you'd be wise not to ridicule. Some might take offense. Me, for one. What is it that you're here for? Uh, Sophie mentioned Agathon to me. Sophie suggested I should meet Agathon. She said he's quite knowledgeable. Did she now? Aisling looks you up and down. Her countenance seems unchanged, but you can tell she's judging what you said. That's new. Suddenly, a man enters from a side room. He doesn't even look at you, lost in his own thoughts. I have it, Aisling. I think I know how to find it. He catches himself as he notices you. His face turns sour. A visitor? Yes. We were just discussing you, in fact. Is that so? Let me introduce myself. My name is B-Rhy. I've been told you might be interested in teaming up. Teaming up? He seems very confused by the notion. What for? I don't want to be too, like, you need help, dog, I can help you. I don't want to be like, you need to tell me stuff so you can help me. We'll do this. I could assist you in your work. I can be quite helpful, knowing I can count on someone to return the favor. Is that right? He seems to consider it, then turns to Aisling. High Regent, may I ask your advice on this? She looks you over, as if judging your worth. It takes her just long enough to make you feel uncomfortable. When she takes her eyes off you, she addresses Agathon. Do you feel like you need assistance in your task, my child? I am confident I can do it on my own. He pauses, hesitating for a second. But I do believe it is important enough to warrant outside help, even if only for a single night. Another brief moment of hesitation. Of course, the details will remain between you and I, sire. Agreed on all points. Why don't you start by giving our intern here a brief explanation of what you're after? Agathon gives Aisling a hesitant look, but the woman nods approvingly. Encouraged, he turns towards you. A member of our clan disappeared without a trace a handful of nights ago. While the High Regent investigates if any foul play was involved, I have been tasked with recovering her research notes. If there is anything left to recover, that is. I may have an idea where to start looking, and I suppose this is where you come in. If you truly wish to help, I could use your assistance tonight. Right now, in fact. Given the time we've just wasted on idle chatter, I should leave immediately. What's the research about? That research sounds pretty important. What's it about? A single glance at Aisling is enough. You can tell you're not getting an answer, at least for now. It's important to us, and that's all you need to know. These people aren't in the habit of making things simple, facing layers upon layers of secrecy. You can only hope that what lies beneath it is the real deal. I'm heading out. Are you coming or not? Sure, I'll join you. Very well. He gives Aisling a slight bow. High Regent, with your permission, she nods. Before you go, however, B-Rhy, defer to Agathon in all things. Our clan values obedience above everything else. Prove you can follow, and this might turn into a mutually beneficial relationship. I will await his return and his report. Good luck, my child. Agathon bows again and heads out. urging you to follow. The High Regent watches you leave. Outside, Agathon leads you to his car. It's almost funny seeing him get behind the wheel. Somehow, you'd expect a more mystical means of transportation. What, like him just flying off? He do look like one of those vampires, though, that can fly. Anywho, you drive south, heading to the lower east side. Agathon seems lost in thought. Either that, or he's a very careful driver. Either way, several minutes pass in silence. All the vampires are silent in the car, huh? We ain't gonna be asking no question about where we're going. We'll talk about the High Regent. So the High Regent is your sire? Did I get that right? Yes. He seems to be thinking of the right words before he decides to address you again. Let me ask you something. Why me? There's likely a couple hundred of us kindred in New York, yet you seek me out specifically. Why? Sophie spoke highly of you. For one, Sophie spoke highly of you. She gave me a short list of people to meet. You were on it. I see. Once more he grows silent. You're unsure whether to continue prying, as your driver seems to disappear into his thoughts. You drive into Williamsburg and stop by a fancy-looking building. We're here. There's a restaurant on the top floor. You wanted to help? So here's your chance. I need you to get us inside the VIP lobby. Once we're in, I need about half an hour of focus and some space. It'll be up to you to keep attention away from the room. Can you do that? He doesn't wait for an answer and points to the front door. Go ahead, I'm right behind you. The two of you take the elevator up to the restaurant. The doors open, and you see that there's only a few guests left, sitting at their tables. An important-looking staff member approaches you. Good evening. I'm very sorry, but the restaurant is closing for the night. I can make a reservation for next week if you wish. We're location scouting. Hey, we're not your regular customers. In fact, we're location scouting for a movie. We'll just take a quick look around and we're gone. No, I'm sorry. We're not interested in being featured in a movie. I will have to ask you to look somewhere else, to look elsewhere. I would suggest Smith and Wollensky on the 21 Club, or the 21 Club. Let's use our power. Hey, it's all good. We can come in. We'll be in the VIP lobby. It won't take long. The man blinks. A confused smile appears on his face. Yes, of course. Not a problem. Please, come right in. You walk in, trying to look casual, and make your way towards the VIP lobby. You step inside and close the door behind you. It's a nice place. Very highbrow. Lots of old, expensive-looking furniture in private rooms to discuss any sordid business one discusses when you're that rich. Your companion looks at you with something akin to admiration, or at least, that's how you choose to interpret the slight change in his usual somber facade. Not bad at all. He inspects the room. It's usually cold, and Agathon soon discovers why. Looking behind the curtain, a window hangs open. The handle and lock look like they've been dissolved, as if with acid. God damn it, Juno. Looks like she's gone. Whoever Juno is, it looks like she's no longer here. A flash of fury sparks in his eyes. Yeah, no kidding. He takes a frantic look around the room. This changes things. Keep an eye on the door. I'll need some time, half an hour, at the very least. Nobody disturbs me, understand? He hastily pushes a couch and some potted plants out of the way, moves a bar stool and takes out a curved knife. Cutting into his own arm, he lets some of his blood drip onto the wooden floor. It's pretty fucked up, the way his flesh oozes, the deep red, thick vitae. In life, you'd have found it stomach churning, but right now you're feeling weirdly turned on by the sight. What follows is more disturbing yet. With one hand, he sheathes the knife and seals the wound. With the other, he smears the blood around him while muttering some weird chant. It sounds vaguely Latin, but you're pretty sure it isn't. It's all more than a little disconcerting, but he seems to know what he's doing. A few moments later, the circle starts glowing faintly as thin wisps of smoke surrounds Agathon. Hey, B-Rhy and AK Alien, how are you both doing? What's up, Doc? I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Appreciate you coming through on this good old Wednesday. Just trying to get through the week, Doc. That's how I am. Trying to take it day by day, week by week. Hope you're doing the same. He sits down in the middle, legs crossed, eyes closed. Minutes pass. Agathon's face twitches from time to time, and his head turns around every now and then, as if he was looking around or listening in on a conversation. I'm fine, just finished working. Sounds like a good strategy. Yeah, exactly. I got Mortal Kombat 1 though yesterday. I got to play it for a few hours, maybe like almost 3 hours. I got to play it last night. But have you gotten it yet, Doc, or are you waiting? And AK Alien, I asked you too, but you wasn't listening probably. You got Mortal Kombat 1 yet? That was the last game I had to purchase. The smoke grows thicker, forming a veil around the mage. You expected something more flashy, but it's still a sight to behold. I still need to buy MK1. I wanted to stream it today, but I'm beat. Might try again tomorrow. I feel you, Doc. Hey, this is why I'm doing this stream today, because Monday I was totally tired. So I definitely feel you. Hell no, I'm broke, remember? Hey, you talking about me getting Armored Core. There's so many other games, bro, that I also need to get. But I feel you. It's rough out here in these streets. And then Christmas coming up too? Look. People might be getting IOUs for Christmas. You wonder what the point of it is, but refrain from asking. It's probably best to let Agathon do his thing. For close to 30 minutes, you're left to your own devices. Then, suddenly, the door opens slightly and the manager leans into the room. You tense up for a second, but he gives you an awkward smile. Anything you need? You shoo him away before he can take a closer look at your companion, and he retreats obediently. 2 minutes later, Agathon casually gets up off the floor and walks over to the sofa. IOUs, just send them your love for Christmas, right? That's what the holidays are truly about. Exactly, Doc. See, we got to get back to the root of Christmas, which is Christ the Lord. Christ the Savior. Savior is born. Y'all know the song. Anyway. My presence will be my present this year. Exactly. I feel you, bro. He pushes his hand in between the cracks in the upholstery and fishes something out. He then turns to you and nods. We're done here. Let's go. You make your way back to the elevator, passing the manager on your way. He gives you a slight, somewhat confused smile, but neither him nor any of his staff get in your way. Despite that, the elevator ride down feels tense, and the two of you only relax once inside Agathon's car. He starts the engine and takes a right at the Continental Army Plaza, back onto the bridge. You're just about to say something, but he beats you to it. That went better than I expected, all things considered. It might have been a trick of the light, but you're pretty sure you just saw a smile. I'm used to working alone, but what I'm dealing with right now, it might require some more assistance, and you seem capable enough. Found what you came for? So I'm guessing you found what you came for? Sort of. Enough to continue the search, at any rate. This seems to deplete his social battery for the night. You drive the rest of the way in silence. See? Vampires don't like to talk in the car for some reason. They just like, leave me alone. Let me listen to my music. what type of music vampires will listen to? Uh, good question. I really don't even know a lot of rock bands that's out nowadays. It doesn't take you long to reach the Warlock's hideout. Agathon waves at you, absent-mindedly, once again lost in his thoughts, hopelessly so. One of these nights, you should probably take him up on his offer. Who knows, if you gain his trust, maybe you can actually break through his stoic facade and meet the man underneath. Okay, that went well. That went pretty good. So we got a friend in him. Oh, we get the rest? Okay, we get the rest. You notice something strange by the front door of your haven. A letter's been slipped under the door in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends letters like this. The note is short and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. You're cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. Okay. Very cryptic. There's no other information. It looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. Alright. Want to say appreciate everybody who's been coming through. If you're not watching me on YouTube, make sure you follow me on YouTube. That's B-RHYEXPRESS. Check me out here on YouTube if you're watching from my PlayStation live stream. And we can talk there. Otherwise, I won't be able to see anybody's messages. So I just had to throw that out there. Let's continue. Alright, who else we going to visit? Juno, the notes. You find the mystery of Agathon's research tantalizing enough to pay him a visit. I feel like we should finish up with this guy. Because, you know, there's no point in just waiting, right? Yeah, let's finish up with Agathon and Juno. These vampire politics are doing... what? Are doing a lot. Yes, bro. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of different vampires I didn't know. Like they segregate themselves. How y'all dead and still segregated as a species? You know, like come on, get your mind out of that. That way of thinking. Yeah, we're gonna go back. You know what to expect when you return to the small bookstore serving as Agathon's haven. The cacophony of occult imagery assaults you from the book covers displayed on the window, but under the fake facade there's something... I didn't finish reading that part. Anyway, this time the Buddhas and the satanic Bibles of the storefront seems almost funny, or perhaps you've just started to tune into the dry humor of these Tremere. Just as you're about to ring the doorbell, the door opens and Agathon storms out. You step aside just in time to avoid having him stumble into you. B-Rhy, what are you doing here? Window shopping. I came to help you. Look, I came to help you, like last time. Okay, fine. You're right. Follow me. I mean, Nosferatu makes sense, but the rest, I know, right? What, you gon' all right, I mean, just because Nosferatus are ugly, and, you know, they can't really just walk around the streets because people gonna be like, hey, that's a vampire. You can't treat them... They're your brethren, right? You can't treat them no different just because they look different. That makes you a vampire racist. Literally. As he turns to go, Agathon almost looks pleased that you're here. And then Nosferatus are normally like broke people who gotta like live out in abandoned buildings because of the way they look. So you're not only racist, but you're what's the word for rich people and poor people? You're that. My bad. My mind's going blank. I'm tired, y'all. As he turns to go, Agathon almost looks pleased that you're here. Agathon walks to his car with you in tow. It didn't occur to you last time, but it's a surprisingly pedestrian vehicle. An aging mid-sized family sedan. You imagine what it would look like with a baby seat in the back. They are also weaker, has no powers, can be overpowered by humans, and they live a life of rats. Or live off of rats. I mean, yeah, but that's like saying I eat pork and beans because I ain't got no money, but you eat wagyu beef and steak and stuff. Does that mean you can't fool with me because I eat pork and beans out the can? Opening the door on the driver's side, Agathon notices your look. Laugh all you want, but it's inconspicuous and practical. He definitely doesn't look like he drives a sedan. He's a soccer mom after all, huh? You a soccer mom, Agathon? Your name, though, is very comic bookish. Like, who names their child Agathon? They was hoping you was a girl so they could name you Agatha. But then when you came out as a boy, they was like, well, I want to keep the name. Let's just make it Agathon. You sit in the car and Agathon starts driving in his usual careful style. At least you'll never be stopped by traffic cops. It seems Agathon is not interested in small talk. Sir, in this scenario, you're eating spoiled pork and beans out the garbage and want to come into a mansion without taking a bath. Okay, very true, very true, very true. But what if I'm like your cousin, though? Like, we're related still. We're related. You're not going to invite me in and give me a wash-up? Try to make my Nosferatu-ish looks look a little bit better with some makeup or something? I don't know, There's something you can do to help the guy out, right? You can't just leave him in the gutter. And then you could teach him that there's more than just pork and beans out there, There's more than just dead rats. You can eat a dead squirrel. You can eat a lamb or something. I don't know. Something better. I don't know if a squirrel is better than a rat, but you know what I'm getting at. He's not interested in small talk. That's literally where they stay. You know what? I'm not going to even talk to him. He doesn't feel like talking. Now, you know what? I'm going to ask a question. What's this all about? I love a good mystery as much as the next vampire, but at some point you have to tell me what we're doing. Let me ask you a question in return. Have you ever tasted animal blood? From sheep, for example? They eat rats because they're the only things they will approach them. Wow. And the rat probably don't even see the dude's face. If the rat saw his face, he'd probably run too. I mean, sheep. I don't think a sheep would be gross. It's like mutton or something, I'ma just say no. New York is not the best place to hunt wildlife, You'd be surprised. There are plenty of pigeons, rats, dogs, and cats. Here we go. He's Agathon. He knows about the rats. But your instinct is correct. Animal blood tastes vile. If it didn't, our unlives would be very different. Anyway, something to think about. Why he bring up this animal blood? I'm wondering. You exit Manhattan over the Brooklyn Bridge. Seems to be your destination. And soon you reach the site of the nightclub that seems to be your destination. It's on the riverfront, a converted former warehouse. After Agathon parks the car, it's time for you to enter the nightclub. You glance at the Tremere, evaluating him. It's obvious this is not his kind of place. It's not your kind of place, not exactly. But you've probably been here and just forgotten it. For a bunch of perennially penniless art types, your friends were always good at trawling through every gutter in search of a high. Damn, you had some druggies? Druggy friends? There's a good chance the research notes are here. Let's go. Let's not waste any time. Excellent. There's a line into the club. It looks like a popular spot, even if based on the crowd. This is not exactly a place for supermodels and celebrities. Why would we wait when we could just charm the bouncer? I wonder where they watch us, though. We're gonna wait in line. You joined the line with Agathon. He looks uncomfortable, as if he had hoped that you could somehow get in faster. Just apologize to him. I'm sorry, we have to wait. It can't be helped. There are too many people for us to try anything. If you say so. You stand in line for 15 minutes and eventually get past the bouncer and step inside. The music beats you down, bringing with it memories of a human existence. The first time you went dancing with friends, when you flirted with someone on the dance floor. Why is it always the same at every club in every video game? You know, we listen to more music in clubs. This time, it's different. You're a predator, and everyone around you is prey. Tightly packed, twitching sacks of blood and tissue. You sense the emotions all around you. Blood tinted with happiness, lust, rage, jealousy, love. A buffet of sensations. Focus. Keep an eye out for trouble while I look for what we came to find. You nod and follow Agathon through the throng, trying to ignore all the warmth, flesh, and circulating blood around you. Oh, I'm getting thirsty. We can't do it on... It's too many people. We can't drink. Focus on helping Agathon. Eyes on the prize. You came here to help Agathon, and that's what you'll do. Agathon waves through the dancing people with purpose, but you have no idea how he is searching for the missing research notes. Perhaps he's using the enhanced senses of a vampire or some esoteric sorcery. At least he seems to know what he's doing. Juno. You swerve to avoid a drunken man who is just about to spill beer onto you and try to see what Agathon is looking at. A young woman, intense, purposeful, a little out of place at the nightclub, just like you and Agathon. Is she looking for notes too? I just say, Juno? Who's Juno? She's Tremere, a renegade. Bad news. The woman Juno elbows a drunken man out of her way and points a finger at Agathon's face. Agathon, you traitor. Don't you dare stand between me and what's mine. You look at the woman in surprise. Her appearance stands in contrast with the anger in her words. Juno, you know Aisling will not let you leave with the notes. Perhaps she won't let you leave at all. I'm Juno. Juno pulls up close to Agathon's face and stage whispers loudly enough for you to hear her over the music. Oh wait, never mind. Who you thought Juno was, bro? She ain't got no shirt on under that scarf to look like. Maybe that is a shirt. You know, pale skin, can't tell. Anyway, back to the story. You're still so brainwashed that you care about what Aisling fucking Sturbridge wants. I'm done jumping through her hoops. I don't know what I saw in you, Agathon. You're such a lapdog. Oh, y'all had a thing going. Well, I say let's not forget the masquerade. I wonder why he wants to keep saying that. She's your ex? Sorry to interrupt, but this woman is your ex? Yes, we used to date. Maybe we still would if you weren't such a fucking coward, Agathon. Ooh. Why you the only black vampire though, bro? Yeah, good question. Good question. That's not fair, Juno. It's fair, you know what? I mean, it's fair and you know it. You're too busy licking Aisling's boots to realize what we had. Aisling doesn't wear boots. Good one, Agathon. Good one. Your character is definitely jealous. Don't correct me. With the start, you realize Juno is genuinely upset. It's hard to say how long ago they broke up, but the wounds are still the same. Also, damn, she ain't had to cook him like that, right? Calling him a coward in front of all these people? You're the kind of man who takes the side of his boss over his girlfriend. Oh, wow. She is really scorned. Juno's eyes glisten red with the blood of her tears. You look at Agathon with uncertainty. It was for your own good. Juno steps back, suddenly cold, ignoring the people dancing all around. She stares hard at Agathon. The past is the past. The traditions are dead to me. You won't stop me, Agathon. I'll make sure that here and now. You know I have power. No, Juno, please. Agathon sounds panicked. He's not worried about his own survival, but of the possibility that Juno is going to unleash a genuine masquerade breach. Sucker punch, Juno? We're probably not going to be able to use no power on her. Let's talk to her. Look around you. We're in a crowd of humans. If you start something here, it will be a masquerade breach. Catching on, Agathon joins you in support of your argument. If you break the masquerade, it won't be just Aisling Sturbridge who has it in for you. It'll be Kadir. Everybody's scared of Kadir, man. Juno looks hesitant, worried. After a moment, she backs away. Alright, you assholes. I'll play it cool. She slides into the dancing crowd. You see her move amidst the people, but it doesn't look like she'll start a fight. Not Agathon. Hey, that's his ex, man. What you expect him to do? Of course he's scared. I guess she's stronger than him though, because he was definitely like, she was like, I have power. He was like, damn, don't use it. Give me a few seconds and I'll verify if the notes are here or not. You idle among the dancers and Agathon prowls clumsily out of place in the throng. Finally he comes back to you. They were here, but not anymore. The ritual I performed is very reliable. We can go. Juno would probably waste some time trying to find the notes here, and that'll give us an edge. You leave the nightclub. Outside you walk... This damn fly in my face! Sorry. Outside you walk into Agathon's car and drive back over the Brooklyn Bridge to Manhattan, heading for Agathon's haven. He's an immortal creature of the night. Very true, but so is she. So is she, so, you know, they may have ability to kill one another. Juno mentions some very personal things. I trust your discretion is in not discussing these things with Aisling. And plus, their trials and stuff is very serious. Like, they will kill a vampire in a heartbeat. And it's other vampires that are willing to kill you in a heartbeat. Hell, the guy I am was just born 3 days ago, and they was trying to kill him night one. Had to do a whole trial just to get some innocence. That's how I'm Sophie's little lackey right now. She's not even my maker. Oh no, they definitely do. Juno mentioned something very personal things. Oh yeah, he told me to keep it quiet. Of course. Your love life is your business. Thank you. After a while, you reach Agathon's haven and he parks the car. You walk to the occult bookstore and Agathon invites you inside. The smell of incense assaults you as before, making you grateful you don't have to breathe. Wait a minute, he can breathe, but he don't have to. That's interesting. He smells the incense, but if you don't want to smell it, just don't breathe. You're fine. You follow Agathon upstairs to find Aisling Sturbridge in an armchair reading an old book. She puts a bookmark in place as you come in. You were successful, I hope. No, I'm sorry. The notes were there at some point, but not anymore. That's a shame. I hope you don't run out of time. How did Sophie's little protege do? Agathon turns to look at you. Well, surprisingly well. That's a surprise. I'll have to compliment Sophie on her choice. We met Juno. Fortunately, she couldn't find the notes either. That's interesting. The High Regent turns to look at you. What was your impression of Juno, fledgling? Agathon's ex? Nah, I'm not gonna do my boy like that. I'm gonna say driven. She's very driven, motivated. I don't think she'll desist easily. You're probably right. Juno could have made a great member of our house in different circumstances. Instead, she became a headache. You'll understand if you have chowder of your own some night, fledgling. I hate when they call me like fledgling. That's like boy. That's worse than Kratos calling boy. Anyway, I have some things to discuss with Agathon. Run along now. You leave the occult bookstore, the cheesy mystical music still in your ears as you walk away. You wonder about what happened with Juno. Why is she so anxious to leave her clan? Can she really do that? Could you leave Sophie's service if you wanted to? I wouldn't try it. They would have my head, I'm pretty sure. Alright. So I think this is a black, I think she's a black, vampire. She looked like she got dreadlocks. But, she's also kind of crazy, and I'm not sure if I want to go talk to her. I think is her name Jezebel, or is she the other chick? Anyway. I said we're going to talk to this guy. D'Angelo. Yeah. Oh yeah, I got the invitation. That's right, I need to... Should I take... I think I'm gonna take the invitation. And then we'll go meet D'Angelo. Let's go see what this invitation is about. You haven't been to a church since you became a vampire, or kindred, as the euphemism goes. You've had to focus on concrete, practical things like survival and feeding. You learn the essentials of the vampire experience, but you don't really have a clear idea of what it all means. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine is a New York landmark. You've been inside once before when you were much younger. You marveled at its Gothic facade. Looking at it now from across the street, it feels ominous. The prospect of an anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one, but the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this, with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You've quickly learned this is an essential skill for a vampire, how to move without anyone noticing you. The full force of the cathedral's architect hits you as you walk between the pews. If the architects meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory, mission accomplished. Based on the note, you're assuming, You're assuming that whoever you're meeting with is somewhere in the front. As you step close to the high altar, it feels as if something is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. Does God still listen to you? That's a good question. It's been a long time since you prayed. You wonder whether God listens to creatures like you. Fatalistically, you take a step, then another. You're not sure if your God is present in this cathedral, but perhaps it doesn't matter. What you feel is real enough. There's an old man sitting in the front. You see only the back of his head, bowed down in silent prayer. Your footstep echoed on the floor, and he turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off him. He's tall, dignified, white hair balding, a few strands escaping to the sides. He's wearing glasses and simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm and pale, too kind for someone like you. Something is wrong. You feel heavy, as if a giant hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Perhaps unconsciously, you expected something like this, as a vampire walking into a cathedral. Only it's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man, the priest. Welcome, my child. The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside is telling you that kindness is not for the likes of you. Let's just confront him. The only way to understand these painful feelings is to push forward and confront the priest. As you step closer to the priest, panic rises inside you. The emotions are hard to control. Fear, anger, pain, all trying to wrestle you in different directions, away. Can I help you? Are you okay? The priest talks to you like he would a lost vagrant who has chosen to enter the house of God. I'm sorry, Father. I'm so sorry. It's all right. Do you wish to pray? It's simply too much, you mutter something incoherently in reply. You don't sound like a vampire, an undead being made powerful by immortal blood. You're just another sad, confused, lost soul. You turn around and stagger away, only feeling like yourself once in the back on the street outside. You stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. No enemies seem to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow you. The night air is wet with the smells of the city, the same as every night. How did it feel? You look at the man speaking to you. He's well dressed, if a little archaic. Dark-haired, handsome, like a character from an old movie. He smiles as if he knows something you don't like. Something you don't. You glance around. There are people on the streets. You don't appear to be in immediate danger. Why does it hurt so much? That's the question I wanted to talk to you about. Let me introduce myself. My name is B-Rhy Segal. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me. B-Rhy offers his hand to you. B-Rhy's handshake is firm and dry. He looks at you intently, as if trying to find something in your eyes. Would you mind sitting with me for a moment? B-Rhy points to a park bench nearby. In darkness, because of a broken streetlight, wary, you decide to follow him. Only an enemy totally unconcerned with the masquerade would attack you here. B-Rhy sits down and you follow suit. For a moment, you both contemplate the cathedral in silence. I know how it feels. What you just felt. I have experienced it myself many times. For a moment, you consider how to respond. It's clear B-Rhy sent the invitation to come here and orchestrated this little setup. Why did you invite me? What's the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here? We share a connection, you and I. I'll explain it later, but right now the important thing is that it's so much easier to show than to tell. Just eat a few humans? I couldn't eat the priest though, you know? I couldn't eat the priest. I wanted you to meet Father Anthony, or see him, experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that? Is it a supernatural power? Was it some kind of supernatural power? No, not at all. I don't think so. It's his faith that makes you feel like that. He's safe in his belief while you are the one of the damned. Do you ever wonder what's the role of a vampire in God's creation? Not with that attitude. You stop to think, of course. You've wondered about what this is all about. Whether it's about God or nature, You don't really know what a being of vampire means. That's the trouble with the Masquerade. A human faced with a human problem can go online and find something that helps. You can't. The Masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is secret. Hidden away. You're left relying on the unreliable opinions of people like B-Rhy. Suddenly B-Rhy takes your hand and presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, you feel his heart stop. My heart no longer beats, yet I move, I talk. Is that how God intended us to be? No, can't be. No, he didn't. I know he didn't. This is wrong. Yes, I agree. The question is, can there be salvation for the likes of us? Sometimes I'm skeptical too, but in Father Anthony's presence, I know faith is real. I know it because it hurts so much. But perhaps you have questions about faith and our kind? He's still wondering what is a vampire? Look, dude, you've been a vampire for what, 5 days now? 3 days? 4 days? How do you know if any of these stories are true? How do you know if any of these stories are true? I don't. How could I know? This is what faith is. You have to believe something. Good and evil, right and wrong, love and hate. I believe we are damned. I also believe that there is always hope, grace. Father Anthony's faith tells us that, or something like that. It's so easy for us to lose ourselves in a morass of occult speculation. Some of our kind revere Cain, others Lilith. Many in the Camarilla place their faith in the invisible guidance of the Mesulas, who are supposed to watch over us. Yet I wonder how much that really matters when compared to the character of a good man. There's a lot to take in. There's a lot to take in, all these myths. Hard to know what to believe. I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him, whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children, anyone can have that conviction inside them. I don't know where this guy is, where he's going to. Pray for guidance. Yeah. Before we talk anymore, I have to pray for guidance. I don't know what to think, and I need help. B-Rhy nods patiently. Let's meet again in a few nights, here at the cathedral. We can talk more after you've thought it through. You leave B-Rhy sitting in the shadow of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you've experienced. Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true. But what does that mean? Interesting. Not long after you wake up tonight, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment. Hey, I came to pick you up. Miss Langley wants to see you. Well, my freedom was good. Do you know what she needs me for? Any idea what she needs me for? I'm not in the position to ask. See, Gregory is smart. He's like, I'm a human. I want to stay human. I'm not asking questions. He smiles politely. The car's waiting. Shall we? You wrestle with the same thoughts as a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave. Disappear. Let Sophie find somebody else to employ. But then you remember the anarch thug being cut down by Kadir, and how close you were to the same fate, not even a week ago, and that it might still happen if you step out of line. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked onto one of the paintings in the room. You're pretty sure it was here earlier, but she's behaving as if she's seeing it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced. Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to the both of you, a bit of irritation in her countenance that soon gives way to a pleasant, warm smile. You're here. Excellent. Thank you, Gregory. Her driver leaves and she turns her attention to you. I hope you had a good few nights and made some new acquaintances, but I have to say, I'm happy to see you, B-Rhy. Thank you for coming. The change in mood of the room is so sudden and startling. It makes you consider the true power of vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her motions, her entire body language all feel 100% genuine in expressing legitimate interest in you and your well-being. I have a request for you this night. I need you to find somebody for me and make a delivery. She points to the statue at the side of the room. You notice a plain-looking flash drive lying on the edge where the inanimate archer's bow touches the pedestal. Quest confirmed. The man you'll be looking for calls himself Kaser. He has eyes and ears all over. Oh, the man you're looking for. I messed the voice up. The man you're looking for calls himself Kaser. He has eyes and ears all over New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I'll need you to take this flash drive and bring it to him. In exchange, he will give you an address, which I need you to know as soon as possible. You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you. Oh, don't worry about the contents. They're all encrypted, a precaution for if the data falls into the wrong hands. But it won't, correct? She gives you a smile that's just a handful of nights ago would make you feel like melting. Oh, and B-Rhy, Kaser is a Nosferatu. That's twisted, deformed lineage of kindred. She doesn't like Nosferatu. He is old, and his age has made him even more paranoid than others of his clan tends to be. He holds many havens and changes them often. From what I've gathered, he or one of his servants should be found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You have to identify them somehow. I'm told Kaser has spent many of his nights spending. Let me read. I'm told Kaser has spent many of his nights these past few years being driven around the city in a black limo. Maybe keep an eye out for it. That smile again, but much shorter. Why do you need to trade with Kaser? Why don't you look for Kaser yourself? You know what? We ain't gonna ask questions. We're being obedient, little kindred right now. Fledglings. Anything more you could tell me about Kaser? He's been here a long time, about as long as I have. He got into a lot of trouble for exchanging information with both the Anarchs and the Camarilla in the past, but ultimately got off scot-free. Kaser's web of information proved to be strong enough to shield him from the consequences of playing both sides. Some say that's the best proof of his abilities. In any case, be careful when talking to him. He's very particular about everyone's etiquette, except his own. Good night, and good luck. She flashes one last smile at you and turns back to the painting, clearly done with the conversation. You pocket the flash drive and head out towards Coney Island. It takes you the better part of an hour to reach the lights and sounds of the Coney Island amusement park from the city. The drive is almost pleasant this time of night. Thank God for Belt Parkway. There are plenty of people here tonight, but nobody who stands out as a traveling purveyor of secrets. Then again, if they did stand out, it would be kind of pointless, right? Nothing to do but figure out the right approach. Now we use our power. You take a moment to focus and try to pick up on any details that would help you with locating Kaser. Initially, the noise from the nearby amusement park floods your mind and momentarily stuns you. A child's crying, the loud bang of a car door closing, The bright, old-school logo of the Cyclone roller coaster. All overload your senses, and you have to lean on a nearby booth to stay upright. You regain control, start walking, listening in, taking in the sights and smells, looking for something, anything to point you in the right direction. A man talking on his phone, a snippet of conversation. Cleaned the red stuff from the garage, tidied up the general. The limo will fit for sure. Come on, don't be like that, boss. I didn't mean to. Yes, I know. I am. It's a privilege, Mr. K, sir. The call ends. The man tucks the phone away. It's a fancy model. It doesn't look like anything readily available in the market, and it doesn't fit the guy that's rugged. The guy's rugged looks at all. He notices you. Hey, what you looking at, huh? Let's just ask. Overheard your call just now. Any chance Mr. K stands for Kaiser? Nah, it stands for That's a terrible lie. Don't even lie, dog. Just be honest now. Clearly lying wasn't his forte. Fuck off. Neither are comebacks, it would seem. Why is this red? Oh, because I can't use my senses because I already used them. Damn, I don't want to do this. Listen, man, I need you to contact your boss, and I need you to do it now. Quit wasting my time or things will get unpleasant real soon. He doesn't take that well. He reaches into his pocket, produces a gun. You rush him. Bang. Well, I mean, that was quick. The bullet hits you in the arm and goes out the other side. It hurts, but what would be a deliberating wound for a mortal is just a nasty scratch for you. It takes a bit of brawling. The man's stronger than you expect, but using your powers, you're able to overcome him. With a few hits to the jaw, the man passes out from pain. Searching him, you find a fancy phone that doesn't look like anything readily available on the market. The phone's locked, but a recent smudge on the screen gives you a rough idea of what the combination might be. You get it right on the second try. There's just one number in the phone book, unlabeled. You dial it and hear someone picking up. The voice is like a rusty pitchfork scraping against gravel. Jackie, you're messing up my snuff session here. It better be something big. Is this Kaiser? Hey, is this Kaiser I'm speaking to? Silence, not even a sound. The call ends. You try calling him again, but the number is blocked. Nothing to do but wait and see if he shows up. Not 15 minutes pass before a black limo stops near where you're waiting. One door opens in invitation. The inside of the limo used to be luxury lounge, the kind of with a stripper pole and a bar full of alcohol, but it currently has none of that. Instead, there are motion monitors and consoles. There are dozens of displays, each one showing something different. Surveillance camera footage, stock market quotes, television news, emails, tweets, silent movies, lo-fi footage of a gory torture session. You wonder if the limo owner can focus on anything while surrounded by all of this visual noise, and then realize there's nobody there. Or is there? A man blinks into existence on a leather-covered couch, attempting to maintain something that approximates a regal presence. You're 100% sure it's Kaiser. Surrounded by dimly lit computer screens, his features are even more ghastly than you imagine. All sharp angles of twisted bone, mangled flesh, and crooked teeth. He bears them in an awful parody of a smile. Suddenly, somebody grabs you from behind, twists your arm, and pushes your head against the car's roof. I got them, boss. I have them. The Nosferatu chuckles. Oh, congratulations, dickweed. Could have done that before you gave away the fucking phone. Just let them go already. But you're going to make me repeat myself, you thick motherfucker. Damn! He lets go. You take a look at him. The man is confused and clearly hurting. He flashes you an angry stare, but obeys his boss's orders to the letter. What? Are you waiting for a formal invitation? Get in a car. We have something to do. We have some talking to do. The door closes behind you. Well, I'm here and I'm pissed. Unless you've a death wish, I assume there's something you have for me. Do indulge me or start figuring out how to drink your blood with your fangs up your shitter. You reluctantly pull the flash drive from your pocket and slowly pass it to Kaiser. He plugs it into the USB port on the arm of his chair, and displays the data on one of the screens that happen to be turned away from you. It takes him about a minute to access the data. Let me guess. This is from Langley. She said she'd have something like this. You're her new flunky. You have to bite your tongue to keep from arguing with the word he chose, but you nod. Who do you people think I am? I saw this footage a week ago. The fangs from where? Right, he's saying he's gonna stick my fangs up my ass. That's basically what he meant. He removes the flash drive and throws it back at you in disgust. Tell Sophie the deal's off. She wants her address. She can give me something else. We can't use none of these. Ask him to take the deal. I don't think using my powers is gonna work on him. I don't know why they giving me this. You take the most persuasive voice and amicable stance in you can in what basically constitutes the lair of a megalomaniac monster. Come on, man. Don't send me back empty-handed. Take the data and honor the deal. It'd mean a lot to me. The sound of Dr. Ferocity produces is supposed to be laughter, you think. You're pretty sure he'll fall over and die at any second if it's anything other than that. Ooh, ah, look at me. I'm so pretty and well-spoken. I'm gonna feed you this bullshit and you're gonna cram it in and ask for seconds. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I should do to you for trying to pull that trick on me? I should mutilate your face and rub sulfur into the wounds. Rip your tongue out and use it to stuff a fucking turkey. Only see, I'm in a gracious mood tonight. Plus I hate turkeys. They disgust me. So I'm gonna give you a chance to make this little transgression up to me. I'll contact you. Maybe I'll even throw in that stupid address so Langley can shove it up her cunt. Damn, Kaiser! Kaiser is heartless. Ruthless. He's an old man. Old man say anything. But right now, unless you want me to get really pissed off, you'll show yourself out. You're pretty sure you're done here. You get out and close the door behind you, and the car immediately starts backing up. The opaque windows slide past you, and soon the limo is on its way. Kaiser's lackey is nowhere near to be seen. So you make your way to your car, and drive back, wondering what tomorrow brings. The hunger calls to you. A face on the night streets of New York catches your eye. You cannot look away. You were supposed to be doing something else, but what that was exactly doesn't matter now. Sheer beauty, a face, no, a person to die for. You follow them, get close enough to almost smell them, almost taste them. Yes, they must taste like heaven. You could ask them to share, or you could just take their blood. They wouldn't say no, right? Why would they? You're their biggest admirer. He's only mad because of that shitty hairstyle he got. He's just mad at his barber, right? So what if people are looking? So what if the whole world learns what you are? It's worth it. You compose yourself. Your rational mind, fearing his blatant breach of the Masquerade's temporary hold over the beast and its compulsions. It won't last unless you feed. You need to quench this hunger before your passion forces you over the edge. Yeah, you definitely need to eat, guy. Alright. We got one more visit to this guy and to Agathon, who's starting to be surrounded by a smell of danger. Yeah, let's go back to Agathon. We'll just do all of his first and see if we got time for somebody else. One of these nights, you have to buy something. You reflect as you ring the doorbell of the occult bookstore that serves as Agathon's haven. Perhaps something about auras or the tarot. The same sleep deprived blonde woman you saw on the first visit opens the door for you. Each kindred has their own servants, and Agathon seems to go for the tired, wicked mom type. That's funny. Oh, it's you. Come in. The woman disappears into the back room, even as you close the door behind you. Lacking any better directions, you make your way up the stairs. At first, you thought the chanting was part of the ritual soundtrack that plays in the shop even at night. As you reach the second floor, you realize it's Agathon's voice. You come up just in time to see him standing in the middle of his ritual's paraphernalia, with his wrist cut open over a wrought iron stand holding a blood red stone. As Agathon chants, blood drips from the wound in his wrist onto the stone. It looks as if it's absorbed into it. It's probably not a good idea to interrupt the blood rituals, so you just wait in silence as Agathon finishes. A few minutes later, he opens his eyes and smiles ruefully. I've done so many of these rituals. I hope it's not too off-putting for you. Agathon smears a bit of his own blood over the wound, and you see it close. It looks like he does it so often he barely pays attention to it anymore. I'm cool. I don't mind. We're all vampires here. That we are. Agathon picks up the blood red stone from his stand. This is a bloodstone. Could be useful. He doesn't seem inclined to elaborate. Anyway, let's go. He pockets the stone and leads you back down your way to Queens and Flushing Meadows, Corona Park. After parking the car, you follow Agathon on the foot as he leads you deeper into the park. Coming to a New York park in the middle of the night might have worried you when you were alive, but now it's normal. If someone tries to mug you, it just means you'll have an opportunity to feed. Exactly. Agathon walks with purpose, as if he knows exactly where to go. You see the Unisphere, a giant metal sculpture of Earth, lit up the park so parkgoers can appreciate it at night. You're not sure how Agathon picks his ritual spot, but he must have have a purpose in mind. The sculpture stands in the background, giving his preparations added dramatic weight. Stand. Watch while I perform a ritual. It'll reveal whether the notes we seek are here. I'll lose control of the incantation if you fail to keep me from free of distractions. It doesn't look like there are many people around. You settle in for a boring half hour while Agathon mumbles and makes strange gestures, spilling drops of blood at the regular intervals. From the outside, the ritual is not particularly flashy. Agathon repeats a mantra under his breath and walks with measured steps until he stops and turns around, walking back. It looks as if there's an invisible structure that he must follow, unseen patterns and limits governing his movements. As choreographies go, it doesn't look particularly difficult to learn, but you suspect there are hidden dimensions of skill and understanding involved. A lone drunken woman walks towards you. Hard to say what she's doing in the park. She's a little older, white, dressed like a suburban divorcee. What's your friend doing? He's kinda hot. The woman's words are slurred by alcohol, but she seems to have decided that you are this evening's entertainment. Hey you, stop being weird and talk to me. The woman seems determined to walk past you toward Agathon. This looks like just the kind of interruption that he was worried about. Feeding opportunity! Agathon is deeply immersed in his ritual, so why not use this time to have you have constructively? You walk up to the woman from behind, grab her by the shoulders, and sink your fangs into her throat. Blood tinged with alcohol and horniness flows into your mouth as the woman moans from the sudden pleasure of the kiss. Oh, I need to sit down. Just as you lick the wounds closed, the woman collapses onto the ground, swaying, trying to sit upright. Suddenly you hear a scream of rage. Startled, you turn around just in time to see Agathon running at the woman on the ground, his expression contorted with hatred. Did the woman make enough noise to interfere with the ritual? That doesn't explain why he's in such a rage. Don't intervene? You step aside as Agathon leaps at the woman, sinking his fangs into her neck as she screams pitiably. The woman's screams quiet down as Agathon drinks more and more. We gotta stop him, right? You pull Agathon away from the woman. He struggles, but he's clearly not used to physical scuffles. Agathon looks at you wild-eyed, then suddenly snaps out of it. He stares at you in embarrassment and horror. You shouldn't have had to see that. I'm really sorry. Something triggered one of my wards. We have to go now. There's no time to waste. Agathon starts running towards his car, and you do your best to follow. Usually Agathon drives more carefully than most humans, you know, but now something is different. He's speeding, honking at every car that gets in your way. You're driving towards the Bronx, and twice Agathon almost collides with another car. He's clearly not used to driving quickly, but something is overriding his usual caution. You screech to the stop in front of a red tile apartment building. Agathon jumps out of the car and starts running, leaving you to take the keys from the ignition and close the door. Agathon disappears up the stairs, and you follow his agitated shouting. Abuela! It's me, Javi! You get to the 5th floor landing after a run that would have left your mortal self winded to find Agathon banging on the apartment door and fiddling with his keyring. A few of the neighbors poke their heads out into the hallway, but nobody intervenes. Agathon finds the right key and slams the door open, running inside. You follow, entering what looks like the home of an old Mexican lady. There are portraits on the mantelpiece and a crucifix on the wall. The apartment smells musty, with old age, and you detect a faint odor of vampiric blood. Sylvia, where are you? You come to the living room to find a body covered by a blanket in the corner of a sofa. The television is on, but the sound is off. It looks like a Spanish language channel. Agathon tears at the blanket, pulling it away in a panic. He reveals an old woman waking up in her bleary-eyed confusion. Avi? Why are you barging in like this? Who's your friend? You're live, Abuela. Agathon hugs the old lady and then turns to you. You'll have to introduce yourself. I'll check the wards. Something triggered them, and I'll have to see if they still work. Sylvia snuggles deeper into her blankets. This is vampire business, isn't it? Always when there's trouble, it's the vampires. You stare at her, startled. Clearly, the masquerade hasn't held in this household. Play down the trouble, turn it into a joke. Be honest. Turn it into a joke. Yeah, exactly. Frankenstein is not far behind. Anyway, I'm B-Rhy. You must be his grandmother. Frankenstein is not real. He's made up by those people in Hollywood. This isn't about the girl who came to visit. I can tell. Oh, this is about the girl who came to visit. I can tell. Javi was never good at keeping secrets. So much like his mother. You hear Agathon rummaging around the small apartment, almost as if he's scratching at something on the walls. He's always doing that, writing on the walls with blood, making runes. I tell him to cover them with the photos or the paintings, but he won't listen. I have to do it myself. That explains the faint smell of vampire blood in the apartment. Otherwise, how can I invite friends over for tea? They'll ask questions like, if I have runes all over the walls. It doesn't look like a Christian home anymore. That's what she talk about. The girl who was here. What did she talk about? She wanted to know what Javi was like as a child. I told her he was an adorable child, always so dutiful. She was a vampire too, I expect. Uh, yes. Yes, she was. I knew it. Poor girl. I suppose she had a life. Once. Agathon returns to the living room, still agitated. She wanted to send a message. If we don't let her find the notes first, she'll hurt my abuela. He glances meaningfully at the old woman. No, she won't. She gave me a message for you, Javi. She said to think very carefully whether your clan will really protect your loved ones. Agathon stares at Sylvia, stunned and confused. She was here to tell me that? Maybe that's good. It doesn't sound like she wants to hurt you. She was a nice girl, I can tell. Oh, abuela. B-Rhy, let's go. This is all we can do here. You say your goodbyes and soon you're back outside sitting in Agathon's car. What a catastrophe to think Juno was here. The ward's triggered when the vampire enters the perimeter of so Juno was there just as I was doing the ritual in the park. I'll take you to your haven. Agathon starts the car and begins to drive toward Manhattan. He appears agitated, emotions coursing under his stoic face. What do you think Juno meant by that message? She's telling me that if push comes to shove, the Tremere will kill my grandmother to protect the masquerade of other kindred interests. As if I didn't know that. Agathon is gripping the steering wheel harder than he should, although he's back to his usual careful driving style. So I'm sorry this happened. I'm sorry this happened to your grandmother, and that you have to fear for her safety. This is what it's like for all kindred who have a mortal they love. The thing is, if you don't want to lose your battle with the beast, you should probably hold on to those relationships anyway, even when it hurts. Agathon drops you off in front of your haven. The experience leaves you with disquieting thoughts. You met Agathon's grandmother under awkward circumstances, but he clearly loves her very much. You don't know enough about the world of the kindred to say whether that's normal or not. It seems to keep Agathon connected to the world in a way that feels alien for some of the other kindred you've met. Perhaps there is a lesson in that. Perhaps. Alright, we might do one more night and call it. I do want to get on some Mortal Kombat tonight. You're walking down the street towards your haven. In some other town, the sidewalks would be deserted this time of night. In NYC, there are plenty of passerbyers going around about their business. It's easy to be paranoid when you're a vampire, surrounded by a crowd of humans. The kindred have many enemies, and all those enemies have one trait in common. They're invisible, indistinguishable from normal humanity. Other vampires, hunters, all look like people. Is that old man just a tired restaurant worker? Or a kindred thrall tailing your movements? Oh, now you're getting paranoid. Are the officers idly waiting in a patrol car, ordinary cops, or second Inquisition specialists looking to end undead threats? This kind of thinking leads to madness, but you can't shake the feeling that someone is watching you. It's not the first time you felt like this. Following the queue of so many mortals around you, you stop at a street corner to casually survey your surroundings, as if you were trying to remember which turn to take. You look around ostensibly at street signs, but in reality to see if someone really is following you. Down the street where you came from, a crowd of young drunk men argue loudly about baseball. There's an indistinct figure standing behind them, almost impossible to notice. A woman, probably, The men unconsciously move around her as they start to walk away, still mouthing off at each other. Whatever this is, it's probably something you have to take care of. Best case, someone is telling you. Worst case, you'll be attacked and killed. Unfortunately, being undead has its limitations. The sun is coming up soon, and you'll burn to a crisp if you stay on the streets. You reach your haven and settle in for the day, disconcerted by the idea that someone might know where you sleep. As you wake up from your slumber and emerge from your haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street, standing on the corner and looking straight at you. It's Kaiser's lackey, whom you met recently, Jackie. He nods at you, encouraging you to approach. He still looks kind of rough after your last brawl, but the damage to his face is clearly mended. His hands are out of his pockets, though. A sign of goodwill? That's close enough. Let me guess, Kaiser sent you? This is not a social visit. Kaiser sent you? Don't say his name out loud, idiot. He takes a look around just to make sure nobody's listening in on your conversation. Yeah, he sent me. I'm supposed to give you this. He produces a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket and hands it to you. Read it, memorize it, then give it back here. A letter. It's a letter. You just got a letter. You just got a letter. The paper might be just a page ripped out of a spiral notebook, but the writing on it is exquisitely detailed and deliberate. It reads, Time to square your debt with me. Go to the wine shop at 232 Mulberry Street and ask for the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro? I don't like that name. When they tell you they don't have it, say you are a Fidel Servitor della Famiglia G. Those exact fucking words, and make sure you get the G right. Fidel Servitor della Famiglia G. Fidel Servitor della Famiglia G. Okay. You get a bottle just to take it and leave by saying grazie. Don't ask how much it is or anything else. Just walk out. When you have it, come back to Jackie Boy here and let him know. You done? Memorize that shit and hand it over. Didn't think your boss was a letter guy. Saw this cloak and dagger nonsense. Letters, passwords, what's with all this cloak and daggers nonsense? That's how the boss likes it. And who am I to argue? I just do what he says. You about done with the letter? You note the phrases and address mentioned and immediately reaches for a lighter and burns the letter, putting out the ashes with his boot. So yeah, when you do what the boss asks, come back here so I can tell you where to go next. I'll be in the alley over there, so find me when you have time, when you have the item, whatever it is. I don't know. And the boss made it extra clear that I shouldn't care, so I don't. See ya. He shuffles away and leaves you to pursue the lead from the letter. Time to pay a visit to Nolita. Nolita? You arrive at the address mentioned in the note. Not counting local restaurant patrons, the street is mostly empty at this time of night, but curiously, the wine shop is still open. Inside, a small, middle-aged woman with curly hair stands behind the counter in front of a wall filled with wine bottles. There's a door at the back of the room with a small table and chair, occupied by a man in a black fall leather jacket with slick, combed-back hair. He's reading a newspaper but pauses as a little bell rings when you open the door. He takes a sip from a small steaming cup, then gets back to his broadsheet. Good evening. How can I help you? I'd like a bottle of 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negramaro, please. Let me check our stock. She seems to be looking through a database on a laptop sitting on the counter. She puts on a polite smile. I'm afraid we don't have that one in the moment. Sorry. Recite the phrase and reassure her. Recite the phrase straight and simple. Straight and simple. I'm a fidel servitor della famiglia G. Ah, in that case, let me see if we have any in the back. Wait here, please. The woman leaves the counter and goes through the doors in the back. The man by the table puts down his newspaper and takes another sip from the cup, washing it down with a gulp of water from the nearby. I didn't read the rest. He tries to hide it, but there's no doubt he's watching you. About a minute passes. Remain silent and wait. You remind yourself of what Kaiser wrote in the letter and keeps quiet, patiently waiting for the woman to return from the back of the store. The man finishes his drink and starts doodling on the paid newspaper, his eyes darting to you every so often. The door to the back of the store open and the proprietor emerges with a small unlabeled squat bottle of crimson liquid. She gives you an apologetic smile. Scusi, sorry for taking so long. Turns out we did have it. She offers you the bottle and you reach out to grab it, but she retracts. You do know what this is, don't you? Interesting. Didn't say nothing about this in the paper. Quit stalling, I'm on schedule. You focus your blood and immediately see both of the people in the shop intently in on you and what you're about to say. I know exactly what this is, and I'm the right person to give it to. The woman gives you the bottle without hesitation. Grazie. Deciding you've pushed your luck far enough, you nod and exit the store, and then take a brisk walk into your car. Nobody follows you as you leave, no leader, and drive back to your apartment. It takes you some time to find a parking spot, but you finally get out of the car and start looking for Jackie. He's not far from where you parted ways just under 2 hours ago. Got the goods? Sure do. Cool. Stand by. Gotta make the call. He takes a few more steps into a narrow space between two buildings and take out the same high-tech phone you saw him carrying last time. Hey, boss. Yeah, they have it. Where do I point them to? Okay, yeah. I'll tell them to go there right away. He puts the phone back in his pocket and turns back to you. Willets Point. Half an hour. So you better step on it. See you around. With only a Philippine salute, Jackie starts walking back down the street. You make your way back to the car and drive. You had to push the speed limit to make it on time, but you're here. Willets Point is quite a change of scenery. The place is a post-industrial dump, the nearby stadium notwithstanding. You stop your car once you realize that if you go any further down, the potholes will kill your chassis. You step out into one of those gashes in the asphalt, splashing in the ankle-deep water. Kaiser's limo is nowhere to be seen. In fact, the whole place is pretty much deserted, other than the apparent proprietor of a lonely bar, a middle-aged woman who's just locking up the place. What? I should just wait. I shouldn't do any of this. But this is all we got now, so I guess we're about to eat. This is too perfect an opportunity not to take advantage of. She's walking to her car, ready to call it a night when you sneak up on her. She's far too tired to resist your strong hold and swift bite. You can taste the caffeine in her veins, smell the cheap cigarettes in her hair, the old cooking grease in her clothes. She passes out. Your assault the closing note of a long day work. You let her down gently and feel a pang of remorse. You pick up the car keys she dropped and place her in her driver's seat. She'll find an explanation for passing out like this, for sure. The bright lights of a car pulling over down the road illuminate you as you close the door. It's a black limo. Kaiser is finally here, it would seem. Same as last time, the car doors open, but nobody comes out. You know the drill. This time, Kaiser is visible when you look inside. You sit down and close the door behind you. So, you pulled it off without a hitch, then? Give it here. You hand the bottle over to the Nosferatu. He uncorks it gently, takes a whiff, and put the cork back in. Yeah, that's the stuff. I can see you're useful beyond your charm with the subtlety of a battering ram. Good to know. Here's Langley's precious address. He passes you an envelope with what feels like a thick card inside. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser. They say he likes people being respectful, even though he's not. Yeah. I'll send Jackie over if I need anything else from you. How about that? Time for you to get out now. He waves you out the car with the envelope in hand. You get out, onto the torn asphalt and decrepit surroundings. The limo slowly drives away. You can return to Sophie and bring her what she wanted. Gregory lets you in. You hear a shrill, unpleasant laugh, and you realize Sophie's having a guest over. Thomas Arturo, you met in Elysium a few nights back. That shriek is unmistakable. Ah, B-Rhy, so glad to see you. Tell me, did you two have a chance to talk previously? Thomas speaks up before you can. Why, yes, of course. And such a good first impression you made, too. Miss Langley clearly did the right thing by taking you under her wing. I'm sure she thinks so, too. Don't you, Sophie? Why, yes, of course. Of course you do, of course. Well, I believe I must be going. I'll be sure to let Prince Pannard know your thoughts, Miss Langley. Word for word, or as close as I can remember them. I appreciate it, Thomas. You two enjoy your night. Good night, Sophie, B-Rhy, Greggy boy. He gives you a sly smile. Sophie's driver opens the door for Arturo, and the guest steps out with a single wave of the hand towards his host and you. The door closed. He's quite the character, isn't he? Yes, quite. But he has his uses. Thomas has clout in court, and access to many juicy details on everyone from the prince to the lowliest primogen. It's useful to have him on your side, even if his eccentricity requires some patience. Speaking of patience, you have been putting mine to the test lately. Did you manage to contact Kaiser and inquire what I asked for? We'll explain. Yes, I have it, but the data you offered was old news to him. I had to do another job for him before he would give me this card. She retrieved the envelope from you. I'm sure he did. I hope it wasn't too much of an inconvenience. I had to retrieve a bottle for him. He made me go on an entirely separate escapade to retrieve a bottle of wine from a store in Nolita. I had to use code phrases and whatnot. Wine shop? Code phrases? That degenerate pest. She's visibly agitated, but calms down and smiles at you. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure that whatever Kaiser had you do, it'll blow over. She opens the envelope and looks at the card. You notice the same lettering you saw on Kaiser's note from before, but can't see the details. Her eyes widen. Yes, excellent. I need to call in some favors. I will likely be busy for the next few nights. You have my permission to show some initiative, my dear charge. I will contact you soon. With that, Sophie ushers you outside and you are left to do with the rest of the night's hours as you like. Huh. Alright. Recently, you're feeling as if somebody keeps telling you. Time to confirm your suspicions. Final confrontation between Agathon and Juno is getting near. Iceland, Sturbridge, region of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, and New York is impatient to see the results. As much as I want to do these other missions, other ones keep coming up. And I do feel like I need to figure out who's watching me. So yeah, let's try to nip that in the bud ASAP. Yeah. Someone is following you around. Has been for a few nights, maybe longer. That can't be a good thing. The only question is, what to do about it? Let's tell Sophie. This is clearly something more serious than what you can figure out on your own. You have to ask Sophie for help. She must have experience with all kind of stalkers, invisible or not. You make your way to Sophie's apartment, feeling watched the whole way. It would be better if you could shake the tail, but something tells you that's impossible. A ghoul lets you into Sophie's apartment. You're not sure how many servants she has, but their servility creeps you out. Does vampire blood do that to people? Or is it just Sophie's personality? The ghoul tells you that Sophie is not in, and bids you to wait in the living room. You do as directed, settling down on the sofa. As you sit contemplating Sophie's decor, you feel strange, as if the feeling of being followed on the street never really left you. You don't have time to think more on this because Sophie strides in, clearly in a good mood. I'm super late, but hey, what's up, Jen, my friend? It's all good. You know, as long as you made it, my friend. How you doing tonight? Hope your night's going well. How the kiddos? The kitties. If it isn't my favorite stray. Damn, you calling me like a stray dog? Am I imagining it? Or have you started to dress a little better? Wow, you're really coming for me right now, Sophie. You stand up, too worried to waste time on small talk. I have a strange feeling. I have a weird feeling when I go out, as if some invisible creep is telling me. Sometimes when you're a vampire, you really do have an invisible creep telling you. I had an intervention, LOL. Been trying to do too much, but I'm feeling much better. Oh, hey, I understand. I'm kind of getting at that point myself, and I have to just, yeah. You already seen my status, so yeah, you gotta just kind of take it a day at a time, kind of like I'm doing. Just take it a day at a time. Woo-sigh, take breaks when you need to. Speaking of which, I need to probably do that more of myself. But yeah, take it a day at a time. We got this, Jen. We got this. No worries. But I'm glad you taking time for yourself to focus on that. Take your time to breathe. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sometimes, oh yeah, she already said that. That's a cause for concern, to be sure, in fact. Sophie looks around the room, suddenly startled. I can't believe it. As Sophie stands up, ready to face whatever danger she senses, an invisible force pushes aside her servant standing in the doorway. You hear the door to Sophie's apartment open and close. Sophie sighs and settles back down as the ghoul appears into the hallway in a vain effort to catch the stalker. I suppose I should scold you, but in a town full of Malkavians and Nosferatu, that's probably useless. Sometimes this happens. This is embarrassing. You should be careful. I'll assign one of my servants to watch your haven. You leave Sophie's apartment chastened and confused. If invisible orlocks and gestures can follow you anywhere, how are you supposed to stop them? Perhaps it's all part of the game the kindred seems to play with each other. Hard to say if that makes it better or worse. Okay. So we got that taken care of, I guess. B-Rhy. Who is this guy? Sleaze, a reporter from a gossip magazine sniffing around Sophie's haven. She could use your help with the problem. Look, I ain't got time for that. Let's finish this final confrontation, and then we'll call it a day here. We've met this guy named Agathon. What a name, right? I guess his real name is Javi, because he's Mexican. We found that out. We met his grandmother and all that. He's a cool guy. He's better than Kadir, but he's still kind of stoic. I like him, though. He's cool. So let's go on and help him out real quick. You're in your haven when someone knocks on your front door. Puzzled, you open. Agathon stands in the hallway expectantly, as if the 10 seconds it took for you to come to the door was an impossible imposition. You need my help? Let me guess, you're going out on the hunt for the research notes? You need my help. Yes, exactly. Let's go. See, he's to the point, though. I like him. He's to the point. You follow Agathon down the street, wondering what kind of revelations tonight will hold. So far, Agathon's rituals haven't been successful at locating the research notes, but you've learned a lot about the Tremere and Agathon himself. This time, I've got it. The problem is, when an old vampire disappears, even from our clan, we're so secretive that it's hard for us to find out what they're up to. Agathon's car is parked at the curb. You get in and he starts to drive. You may have guessed that the notes we're looking for belong to an old member of our house. The problem is that we need them to continue her research. Why does Juno need the notes? That's a good question. What does Juno want to do with these notes? Is she going into research? Agathon looks at you uncertainly before returning his eyes to the road. I don't know, but I can guess. You wait for him to continue, but he doesn't seem inclined to do so. You're getting used to sitting in Agathon's car in silence. Like I said, all the vampires drive in silence. They don't want to talk while they're driving. He drives. You look out the window, back to Queens. Eventually, you roll up to an industrial area called Willets Point. It doesn't really look like a place where a blood sorcerer would hang out. Damn, we still on Juno and Agathon? Hey, this supposed to be the last time, bro. The last meeting. He needed my help, so he came to the apartment. Agathon parks in front of a car repair shop that looks like it has seen better days. There are huge puddles of water on the road and car wrecks strewn about. Better be quick. If I can find this place, so can Juno. You look around to see if someone is observing you, but there doesn't seem to be any people about. And why would there be? Who would hang around at a place like this at night? Agathon tries the front door of the repair shop, then circles around to the back. You follow him. There's a broken window in the back protected by iron bars. Agathon grabs them and gives them a quick shake. The entire iron grill comes off. Startled, Agathon lowers it to the ground. I suppose someone else has already broken in and didn't want to leave an obvious point of entry. Mia Vampire plays half a sack by 3-6 Mafia on the radio. Hey, you a different kind of vampire, dog. You and Agathon climb inside through the window. It's awkward, but not difficult. Looking around, you realize that the repair shop has been abandoned for some time. It looks like homeless people have stayed here in the past, but nobody's currently squatting on the premises. You try a light switch, but nothing happens. You know the drill. I'll do the ritual in the office. Make sure there are no interruptions. Agathon makes his way to the repair shop office, a slightly cleaner area than the rest of the building. He begins the ritual in the dark. I mean, see, they want to entice me, but we're gonna stand guard. Cause all y'all ate those people. We ain't eat nobody. You can't prove it. You can't prove it at all. You lean against the grimy wall. Agathon murmurs the strange words required by his blood magic and takes careful measured steps across the filthy floor. You wait patiently as he performs the ritual. It feels like it's taking longer than usual, leaving you time to scan the room. Okay, so they're gonna make me scan the room anyway. Street lights filter in from outside, but it's still pretty dark. A ratty sleeping bag lies on the floor. Wonder what a warlock might have in place like this. There's a small TV on the desk, probably from the 90s. Looking closer, you realize there's a post-it note on the middle of the screen TV. I said screen TV. This TV screen. Dyslexic much, B-Rhy? You take it. It reads, "Loser, Juno." Wow, Juno. What a waste of paper. Agathon stops gesturing. See, this is why vampires are lame. Y'all can't even show up on cameras. Hey, all the easier to take stuff with, bro. Don't you wish you couldn't show up on cameras? Imagine what you do. Actually, don't imagine it. I'm afraid to know what you'll do. They're not here. How is that possible? You show him the post-it note. He takes it and looks it over, as if suspecting it might hide a devious trick. Fuck! She has the notes, and she had to gloat. We have to go. It feels like you've spent a lot of time recently hurrying after Agathon as he walks briskly and in and out of buildings and to his car. He starts the car as you close the door. We have to go to our haven and get those notes. There's no time to waste. Despite the urgency of his words, Agathon drives as carefully as ever. It seems that only a threat to his grandmother is enough to make him drive recklessly. What do we do with her? What do we do with her? Is she an enemy? Let's not be hasty. I'm sure we can talk this through. Agathon doesn't sound too convinced. Juno's haven is in Brooklyn, in a waterfront warehouse. Agathon drives south to Brooklyn. This is one of the advantages of being undead. Moving at night, traffic is much lighter than if you wanted to zoom around the 5 boroughs during rush hour. Parking the car, Agathon points to a light coming from an otherwise dark yellow brick warehouse. That's her. Let's go in. Do we just go in through the front door? I mean, she probably wouldn't like that, right? Let's go around the warehouse. Preferring to keep a low profile for now, you and the circle around the building and look for an alternative entry point. You find a rusty metal door with no window in it at the very end of the building. Some kind of emergency exit? You get it open with little difficulty, entering the building with Agathon. You emerge into a light-proof room, sectioned off on one side by a cheap plywood wall. There's a flimsy-looking door that probably leads to the main warehouse area. You stop to listen. You hear 2 voices. One is clear, and you recognize that it belongs to Juno. The last time you heard her, she was shouting in a nightclub, but the voice is the same. The other voice sounds like it's coming from underwater. It has strange echoes and resonances that you can't figure out. I have the notes. There's nothing holding me here. Very good, Juno. You'll be much happier once you've shed the shackles of the pyramid. Yes, I think so. I want to ask, Karna, is it possible for me to bring another? Another of ours trapped in the hierarchy? Yes, use your judgment. We are too powerful for them to attack us now. Thank you. You won't regret this. Enough waiting. Enough waiting, this Agathon. Agathon tries to break down the door by ramming into it with his shoulder. It's flimsy and it breaks with surprisingly little effort. You and Agathon barge into the space and find yourselves at the periphery of a candlelit ritual circle. Your eyes are drawn to the wash basin and at Juno's feet. Maybe it's your imagination, but it almost feels like the water inside is emitting a wan, red light of its own. Juno, you have to stop. Hand me the notes. Oh, Agathon, you're such an idiot. This is beyond you now. I'll give you one last chance. Come with me. Forget Aisling and her power games. Join me and you can become your own man. What? Agathon seems genuinely flabbergasted at the suggestion. Don't listen, Agathon. You're loyal to your clan and your grandmother. Juno glances at you, annoyed. Why involve her in this? Sylvia's old, and soon enough she'll be dead. No reason to miss an opportunity on her account. You see Agathon ball his hands into fists. Juno said the absolute worst thing if she wanted to convince him. You never understood love, Juno. I guess not. They used to go together. They have a history. Juno sighs. She doesn't look surprised at Agathon's refusal to come with her. I would have felt badly if I hadn't offered you the chance. Come back to the chantry with me, Juno. Talk to Aisling. You'll see that this is not a good idea. You glance at Agathon with concern. You're no sorcerer, but fighting Juno in the middle of her ritual circle doesn't seem like a good idea. 2 words. Fuck you. See, what you gonna do now? What you gonna do now, Agathon? We ain't gonna try to fight her. Like he said, I think this would make her want to fight. Trying to convince her. I don't know if that's gonna work either. Okay. Let's just talk to her. Let's just talk to her. Maybe I don't think this is gonna work. I don't think none of this shit is gonna work, honestly. Because if we use our powers on I think using your powers on a vampire is stupid. Like, because they already know your power. I mean, maybe they don't know your power, but they already can tell you using your powers, right? So it's one of these two. Just tell her. Listen to Agathon. Come quietly. I don't think so. Well, we tried. Agathon reaches towards the notes, but the moment he lays a hand on them, Juno also touches the side of his face. Agathon lets out a strangled shriek, the skin of his face blackened on this, as if on fire from the inside. Goodbye, Javier. She grabs the folder and escapes the way you came in, calling back to you. Feed him your blood pastry, or he dies. Patsy, or he dies. Agathon whimpers and moans in pain, thrashing on the floor. You've never seen anybody like this, eaten up from the inside. You're not sure whether Juno did this on her own power, or if she somehow channeled the energies of her benefactor through the bosun. Whatever the case, Agathon is clearly in bad shape, and she is already halfway through her makeshift back room. We're gonna save Agathon. You kneel to him, bite open your wrist, and let blood flow into his mouth. He drinks hungrily and uses the blood to mend to the worst of his pain. When you look up again, Juno is gone. I failed. Agathon sounds muted, as if he is confused by the reality of the situation. Dejected, you both return to the car, his body still stiff from the hurt inflicted on him by Juno. You shouldn't have stopped to help me, you know. But I appreciate it, sincerely. You sit in the silence as Agathon drives you back to Manhattan. Traffic in the small hours is mercifully slight. You consider your next words. Do all Trimmer know these magics? That was insane. Can all Tremere do this? Can you? I can do a lot, but I have my limits. The High Regent, Aisling Sturbridge, can do a lot more. You reach the occult bookstore. Oh, she's gonna be mad. That's his maker. We was doing all this for. After Agathon parks the car, you head inside. You climb to the second floor and find Aisling Sturbridge waiting for you. Up. She looks surprisingly casual for someone with such power. You have the notes, I hope. No, Juno got away with them. For a moment, Aisling Starbridge only stares at you and Agathon. She doesn't look angry, but you wish you were anywhere but here. That's disappointing, especially coming from you, my child. I had hoped for you. As for this neonate, what can you expect from some orphan Langley took in? Wow, now you talking shit about me just because I couldn't help. I saved your homie's life, though. Your childling's life. I'm gonna remain silent. You nod, not saying anything. Agathon glances at you, looking relieved. After you receive a dressing down from Aisling Sturbridge, Agathon walks you back to the door of the bookstore. The High Regent might be disappointed with us both, but I won't forget that you helped me in a time of need. You leave the bookstore with the High Regent's harsh words ringing in your ears. You have no idea what will happen now. Will the Tremere keep looking for the notes and the secrets they contain? Agathon didn't get what he wanted, but perhaps the night didn't end so badly for you. After all, you got to know him better, enough to reach an understanding. Perhaps that's enough in this world of backstabbing and betrayal that you now inhabit. Huh. Okay. Well, that didn't end very great, but we didn't die, so that's a good thing. Do I want to meet this guy talking about faith and stuff? I don't know. There's Sleety's the reporter. She want me to help with this guy. We ain't got time to. We need to make new friends. Let's talk to this guy. Recent string of violent killings. Sophie mentioned Cato Eyes Mill, secret associate investigating the murderers. Nosferatu and Neonate by the name of D'Angelo. If you help him out, he might be persuaded for forming a lasting partnership. Yeah, let's go talk to him. As you make your way down the Clinton Street, the incessant hum of traffic gives way to the ominous silence of the waterfront. You stop to take in the familiar bouquet of the Hudson, made all of the more potent by your recently sharpened senses. Across the basin, the Red Hook grain terminal rears its rusty frame, once a bustling industrial area, now a sleeping giant splayed out onto the riverbank, forgotten, abandoned. Conveniently so, especially for one of the hidden. Keeping to the shadows, you sneak closer to the dilapidated complex, making your way past hole-ridden silos and wobbly chain-link fences. By the time you reach the entrance to the main building, you can almost feel the rust particles making themselves cozy at the back of your throat. Not getting your hopes up, you give the door a slight nudge. To your surprise, it gives almost instantly. Looks like someone's been using it recently. Once inside, you find yourself in a large, empty hall. Looking around, you can almost picture it back in its heyday, stacked to the rafters with heavy machinery. You notice a set of stairs leading up to the mezzanine, most likely an office space, and then you see it. A faint light coming from one of the upper rooms. Looks like you're in luck. Quietly, with bated breath, you climb the steps and approach the dimly lit room. The door creaks open, revealing what looks like an old-timey detective's office, complete with the crooked window blinds, an overflowing ashtray, and papers scattered across a wooden desk. Suddenly it hits you. That nagging feeling. This is all too convenient. Too inviting. Before you can react, the trap is already sprung. Ah, damn it. A plume of cigar smoke wafts over your shoulder. The barrel of a gun rubs against your spine. Raspy voice whispers in your ear. Let me guess. You took a wrong turn at Third Silo. Attempt to talk him down. You decide to play along, raising your arms slowly. You weigh your next words carefully. You're pretty sure a bullet in the back wouldn't kill you, but it doesn't sound too pleasant. How about we talk like civilized kindred? How about you lower your gun so that we can talk like civilized kindred? Oh, I'm plenty civilized, I see. You can feel the barrel digging deeper into your back. Double action carbon steel frame. The finest handgun your hard-earned money can buy. Doesn't get much more civilized than that. What about shooting someone in the back? If you're gonna shoot me, you might as well give me the courtesy of looking me in the eye. For a few tense seconds, the room grows quiet. So quiet, in fact, you could swear you can actually hear the smoke swirling in the air. Finally, the stranger speaks again. You know what? Fair enough. In a strange interplay of light and shadow, the stranger reappears behind his desk. Seeing him in his full, for lack of a better word, glory, you can't help but smirk. This is the dreaded Nosferatu. The way Sophie described him, you were expecting some grotesque monstrosity. But this guy, the clothes, the swagger, the hard-boiled detective routine, it all comes across as a bad joke. Still, when it comes to appearance, his lineage is undeniable. From 30 feet away, he could probably pass for a bum with a nasty skin condition. From 5 feet away, he looks like something made to be seen from 30 feet away. That's a good one. That was a good one. He leans back in his chair, casually pointing his gun at you. So, what brings you to my humble office? Are you D'Angelo? You're the one they call D'Angelo? That's my name, kid. Don't wear it out. My friends call me Jen, so you best stick to D'Angelo for the time being. Now, I suggest you tell me what this is about. Otherwise, I kindly ask you to get the fuck out of my office. I can see why K-Deer keeps you. Charming. I can see why K-Deer keeps you around. His expression sours. Not a name you want to casually toss around, kid. But hey, I get it. You're not some random schmuck who wandered in here off the street. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. D'Angelo had hard knock life, right? Yeah, he been through some things. Who I work for is less important. What I'm working on, however. I know, I'm here to help. The Red Hook murders. I know. I want to help you catch the killer. His moldy lips twist into a smile. Do you now? D'Angelo lowers his shades. For a few seconds, he sits motionless with his eyes fixed on yours. Suddenly, he raises his gun, almost making you flinch. Almost. Then, he twirls it into his shoulder holster in a flashy display that definitely looks like it was practiced a lot in front of a mirror. I mean, you can't see him in front of a mirror, so you just see the gun. Anyway, you see the Nosferatu lips move, but the quiet mumbling clearly isn't meant for your ears. Listening in, you're able to catch snippets of his monologue. Sure, they seem to care. What was the end game? What was their angle? Everybody's got one, even if they pretend like they don't. Especially then. What the hell? Maybe this town finally got me. He pauses, sticks a fresh cigar between his crooked teeth. Maybe a good leap of faith is just what the doctor ordered. Offer him a light. As he reaches into his pocket, you flash a lit lighter before his eyes. Or maybe you could use a healthy dose of unhealthy. For a split second, he gives you a puzzled look. Then he leans over to your lighter, puffing on the cig as it catches fire. A weary smile comes back to his lips. I like you, kid. You might look like a used car salesman, but there's just something about you. Tell you what. I was just about to head back to the crime scene, take a look around, refresh my notes. You can tag along if you want. I can use an assistant. Someone to take notes and make wild assumptions for me to shoot down. Oh, you suck, D'Angelo. Who knows? If you're any good, I might consider making this a long-term arrangement. Sounds good? Sure it does, kid. I'm the one who said it. Just one more thing. You still got me at a disadvantage here. Seems like you've done some digging on me, but with you, I've barely scratched the surface. You catch my drift? So answer me this. Who is it that sent you into my neck of the woods? Or, in layman's terms, who do you work for? We just tell him, Sophie. Sophie Langley. For the first time since you got here, the Nosferatu adopts a look of genuine surprise. His eyes wander for a moment, finally giving way to a crooked smile. So you're the one, huh? The fledgling the Toreador dame spared. Yeah, that would make sense. Don't think she'd appreciate you throwing her name around. Thanks for being upfront, kid. One blink is enough for you to miss D'Angelo vanishing from his chair. Just when you're about to look around, he reappears right next to you. Up close, his smile is even more unnerving. Alright, moonlight's burning. Let's get cracking. With a certain fascination, you watch D'Angelo stumble his way across West Brooklyn. I wonder why I was about to say aliens, I was about to say zombies. Wrong words. I wonder why the vampires don't like mentioning their names around the people. Like, especially if, like, them your people. I don't know, it's just weird. Oddly animated, incessantly scratching his face and neck, stopping every once in a while for a bout of mumbling narration. He is most certainly a sight to behold. Still, he seems to be getting around okay, and you take particular note of the fact that he seems to be choosing the darker, less frequented streets. There is definitely a method to his madness. Eventually, your leprous guide takes a sudden turn off of Van Broek Street and into a particularly dingy alleyway. The torn pieces of yellow police tape are a dead giveaway. This has to be the place. Well, here we are. Time for you to earn your stripes. Hold on. Don't turn that on yet. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, you go ahead. You go ahead. Smoking no more?
You don't smoke no more?
No, I'm trying to get this job.
Oh, okay. Good job, man. Good job. Proud of you, man. Proud of you, B. 'Cause I ain't been smoking out. You didn't notice.
Yeah, I noticed.
Got me happy.
Oh.
That's why I sleep all the time. I try to stay up on 3 hours.
Yeah.
I can sleep right now while I'm wondering the time. No problem.
This is where they found him. Drained dry, not a drop of blood in him. And before you ask, no, I didn't get to see the body, so I don't know if there was any bite marks. So what can you tell me? Take a moment to examine the crime scene. Judging by the chalk outline on the pavement, the man was killed recently. Curiously, there doesn't appear to be a trace of blood or viscera. Yeah. And you know the city's cleanup crew isn't that fast, or that thorough. Looking up, you notice a spray-painted sign on the wall. It reads, "The Blood Speaks," in big crooked letters. You look to D'Angelo. The Nosferatu gives you an expecting look. Graffiti looks like a clue. You point at the spray-painted sign. That looks like a clue. Sure, kid. Might as well start with the elephant in the room. What do you think it means? You give the sign a good hard look. It's no Rembrandt, but the writing is jagged, clearly done in a hurry. Seems desperate. Seems desperate. My thoughts exactly. It's as if someone wanted to get a message across, but was too scared to stick around and write the whole damn book, so we got the abridged version. And then there's the blood, or lack thereof. And given that the murder was committed right here and the victim didn't make a sound, we can therefore conclude that either the killer is a kindred or he uses sedative. Say he's a kindred. The killer was kindred. Bingo. Only a kindred could drain a human like this. This quickly, this quietly. Tell me, if you were to guess, which clan would you say our killer belongs to? If I would say, I have no idea. Let's go with the Malkavians. Maybe it's a Malkavian serial killer? They're pretty nuts, right? Nah, kid, the Moonies can be a bit playful, but there's a method to their madness. It leaves a certain aftertaste. This right here, it just reeks of desperation. I might be jumping to conclusions, but my money's on the thin bloods. He pauses, spits out the mangled remains of a cigar. Shit. Looks like we're gonna have to pay Larson a visit. Don't sound happy. It's complicated. Larson's got a neat setup for a thin blood anyway. Lives with his family. A mortal family, mind you. Even though he's a primogen, he's managed to shield them from kindred politics, and that takes some doing. Not sure if he knows who the killer is, but he could probably make an educated guess. In any case, we'd be doing him a favor. If it turns out one of his is violating the Masquerade, it would put him in a hell of an awkward position. And I mean shitting upside down awkward. It's the kind of weakness the other primogen would have loved to exploit. His position in the council is bad as it is. He pauses for a moment and mumbles to himself. It's too quiet to make out. Finally, he lights up a fresh cigar. He takes a puff and lets smoke escape through his crooked smile. Alright, kid, let's get this over with. Compared to the industrial ugliness of Red Hook, Sterling Place is quiet. That's quite a change of scenery. The heavily gentrified and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at and the blue-collar workers dream of. All of a sudden, the Nosferatu stops. It's almost like, seems like he was taking a deep breath, steeling himself for things to come. This is the place. With that, he points to a surprisingly nice-looking two-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost. You notice a dim light shining through the curtains of an upper-story window. It's probably safe to assume that the head of the family is working late, especially if the head of the family happens to be a vampire. Okay, kid, we gotta be gentle about this. I'm talking velvet gloves, soft cushions, you rang me lord gentle. We need to get Larson out here without making a fuss or letting his family see us. If we blow this, he'll shut down like a speakeasy on the raid night. Trust me, I know. What's the plan? Okay, so what's the plan? Tell you what, how about you take the lead on this one? I'm curious to see how you handle it. Of course. You take a step back and look around the area. The lit up window seems like a safe bet. Now it's just a matter of getting Larson's attention. His and no one else's. As you try to come up with a viable strategy, you are suddenly startled by a loud noise. It takes you a second to identify the sound as a dog's barking. It doesn't take you long to figure out where it came from, as a bearded man leading a Rottweiler on the leash comes into view. Let me see, do we feed on him? We ain't gonna feed on him, man. Throw a small rock. You kneel down and pick a rock off the lawn. One small enough to not break a glass, but big enough to get someone's attention. Deftly, you chuck the rock at the window. It bounces off the glass quietly, but audible thunk. Moments pass in silence, making you think no one got your message. Just as you start to look for another rock, you hear the window slide open. Very unassumingly, and slightly unshaven man in a turtleneck appears at the window. As soon as he notices you, his expression sours, like he just smelled something rotten. He addresses your Nosferatu partner in what could only be described as a very loud and very angry whisper. Get the fuck off my lawn, D'Angelo. You know how goddamn better than to show your ugly mug around here. You glance over to D'Angelo. He looks somewhat embarrassed, scratching the back of his neck, clearly trying to find the right angle to play this. See, this is important. We wouldn't have bothered you if it wasn't important, if this wasn't important. Excuse me, who the fuck are you, anyway? Ah, screw it. Stay where you are. You wait out in the lawn, listening to Larson quietly making his way downstairs. Before long, he appears on the porch, locking the front door behind him. He motions at you to follow him off to the side of the house. There, he turns towards you. What do you want? It's about the Red Hook murders. We think one of yours is responsible. Bullshit. A Dustborn's got enough trouble just staying alive out here. What could possibly make them openly violate the Masquerade? Desperation. The killer's been leaving messages. Whoever they are, I think they know something. Something they can't share with just anyone. I know it seems far-fetched, but it's the only way to this puzzle fits together. Nah, I don't buy it. You're reaching. Trying to find a scapegoat. Getting your boss's good graces. Words get around, D'Angelo. You think I don't know who you're working for? Figures you'd cover one of your own. Then help us clear your name. Let's just talk to him. All these vampires look like they just rolled out of bed. Hey, they gotta have the bed hair. They gotta have the bed hair. That's part of being a vampire. You just don't care, but dress like you do care. I don't know. You physically look like you don't care, but you dress like you do care. Then help us clear your people's name. What have you got to lose? Everything. I've been a thorn in the council's side for a while now. This is just the excuse they need to get rid of me. What if it turns out one of yours did it, and you sat on your hands to protect them? You think the council won't jump on that? He looks off into the darkness, pondering his options. He lets out a heavy sigh. Look, I'll ask around, consult my sources. If it turns out one of my own is responsible, they will face justice. In the meantime, keep your deductions to yourself. I have enough trouble as it is. Deal. Good. Now if you excuse me, I have to get back to my family. Speaking of family, don't this little neighborhood look like the same neighborhood Family Matters was on? Like the second time around. Just think about the beginning of the show and how the intro comes in. This reminds me. It's a fair condition this day and age. It just reminds me just when I saw that. And with that, Larson retreats to the elusive safety of his home. You decide it's best to move along. You walk a couple blocks into utter silence. Even D'Angelo mumbling seems to have taken a back seat. Oddly enough, you find his newfound reticence somewhat unnerving. Finally, the Nosferatu stops and turns towards you. Hell of a night. I don't know about you, kid, but I sure could use a drink. Something warm, in a tall, sweaty glass. But first, let me tally your score. Let's see now. You did make a good first impression. I like someone who can talk themselves out of a tight spot. Talking's cheap. Bullets, not so much. You held your own at the crime scene. Nothing I hadn't figured out on my own, but hey, we can't all be professionals. Finally, when the situation called for subtlety, you managed to avoid unwanted attention. Discretion is what separates a private dick from just any old dick. Why you have to say it like that, D'Angelo? And all in all, you did fine. Not fine, but not bad for your first case. Don't let it get to your head. I'll be in touch. Let you know if I hear from Larson. Be ready to meet me at the office. He starts to walk away, but suddenly stops and turns back towards you. And bring a notepad. Every good assistant should have one. All right, you guys. We're going to rest and call that a night for tonight. We should should be at least on night 7, 5, 6, or 7. Let's see. All right, yeah, we should be on at least night 6 or 7. We'll see how much longer we should have left. We're on night 9, so we're doing pretty good. So possibly next week, maybe the last of this. Yeah, possibly next week, maybe the last of this playthrough. If not, then it'll be the week after that. But I want to appreciate all of y'all for coming through. I'm going to be jumping on Mortal Kombat 1 on Twitch. If anybody wants to come by, y'all let me know. Follow me, B-Rhy Express, BRHYEXPRESS. I'll be jumping into that fairly shortly. I gotta eat something. I gotta go on and eat something, and I'll be on there shortly. So, yeah, appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure y'all check out the latest Mortal Kombat 1 video on the YouTube channel. It is the part 2 of my playthrough for the closed beta the open beta that they had for Mortal Kombat 1. Did a lot of editing on the video. Hope you enjoy it. Other than that, I'm gonna try to get another stream in this weekend. Hopefully, maybe in the morning. We'll see about that. But other than that, I will see you guys next week. Perk! I missed most of it, but a good stream, fam. Hey, Perk, it's all good, bro. As long as you came through, it is all love. But like I said, I'm gonna be jumping on Mortal Kombat 1 in a little bit. Just training and stuff, trying to learn characters and stuff, figuring out moves and trying to unlock, costumes and stuff, that all the stuff you got to unlock. So yeah, if you want to catch me, you can catch me there. Other than that, yeah, I'm gonna be on Twitch, bro. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, other than that, Jen, my friend, Perk, my boy, aka Alien, Doc, all y'all for coming through. I appreciate all y'all as always. And I will see y'all later. Love ya. Bye-bye. Boom, 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 da boom. Like how I just end like that. Last note. All right. See ya.